The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Jason, to the main straight. We've got a very impressive museum here at the Nurburgring. Well worth a visit. It wasn't open when I went many years ago, but everyone says it's a wonderful, wonderful place to go. So down the main straight, very, very tight turn one when we get there. Right-hander, and this is going to lead us into the Mercedes arena. So now we're going through turn 2, the Mercedes arena, then into turn 3 before we get onto the right-hander for turn 4. That will appear in the distance very shortly. Here we go into turn 4 now, and then short straightaway down in towards turn 5. You can see why it's called the Mercedes arena. Plenty of really good spectator viewing on the outside of that. Here we come then into 5. Short squirt again before we go into the right-hander at turn 6. This is the Ford curve, and then a long sweeping left-hander which goes downhill and leads us towards another of the hairpins here at the Nurburgring, and this is turn 7, named Dunlop. Very much like Knockhill, all of the corners sponsored by various racing concerns. So we go out of turn 7, continue downhill, heading up in towards the Michael Schumacher S's. So we'll go left first of all, then we'll head over to the right, exit Schumacher's, head down towards RTL, which is turn 1. I say down, we're actually going uphill now, very slightly, as you can see. Turn 10, another left-hander, and Jack Smith doing a super job there before he heads up and immediately sets up for Vorsteiner, turn 11. Don't stop for a beer there. It's a great beer, Vorsteiner, if you've never had it. Now we go down to turn 12, which you can see in the distance, great big flowing sweeping corner here, turn 12, and that's called Advan. Out of that, down the straight, coming down towards the end of the lap now, but before we get to the final corner as well, we've got to go to 14, which we will do Coca-Cola. Last time we were Red Bull, this time we're Coca-Cola. That'll keep you awake if my commentary tends to sleep. And here we go, across the line. Let's have a look at the time for Jack Smith, and it is 2:06.95. That is a lap of the Nurburgring with the championship leader, and my son is hoping possibly join the championship before the touring cars, and he was going to have a go today. Couldn't get anywhere near the times that we've seen from the drivers here with a little bit of practice, and he was definitely in awe of the lap that we saw from Jack Smith. So thanks to Jack Smith for doing that. We, though, are heading into qualifying, 13 minutes on the clock. And Reeve Taylor, 7 points between Smith and Gibson in the top of the table, at the top of the table. Really, no room for error, is there, in the final 3 races?
Absolutely not, no. A real nail-biting finish to this championship. As you say, oh so close in the standings. And here we go, it's our final qualifying session of the calendar. This is the last chance for these drivers to really wring the neck of these classic German cars here, as we see them pushing the track as much as they dare. 2 tyres got to stay within the white lines at all times, wherever possible. Just over 10 minutes to go in this session. We're trying to get close to that 2:06 lap time. Will be John Jones is just about ready to cross the lap on board with Eric Axelsen. Though at the moment, no one quite able to get close to that 2:06.5 at the moment.
No, they aren't. So plenty of time to settle in, and we've seen a mixture of qualifying sessions in the Sachsenring back in October. Sometimes you'll get a driver goes in and nails it straight away. Sometimes you get someone popping in towards the end, but Adam Lowe looking pretty tasty at the moment. It's going to be able to usurp John Jones at the top of the standings. It was interesting looking back at last week's races. Some decent results, obviously, with Thomas Potter winning the features, we said, and Jack Smith winning the other 2. We've not had, I think it's going to be difficult for someone to bag a hat-trick in this series, such as the nature of the race format, but one wonders whether Jack will still be gunning for that as well, whether he'll maybe keep an eye on points, or whether he'd love to get a perfect hat-trick, maybe with pole position as well. That would be some feat if he can do that. Now, results-wise, I say pretty good for him and Oliver last week, 1 and 2. But there were a fair few penalties, weren't there, last week? With slow-bridge exuberance from the drivers. What I gather all has been sorted amicably, which is great. So credit to all the drivers that were involved in any shenanigans last week. So fair play, guys. And now we've got Eric Axelsen at the top of the stack.
We do indeed. I still think we're waiting for a proper fast lap in this session so far, but as you say there, Yeah, a few penalties creeping in from the final race of the previous round. I thought the racing overall, even with the penalties and race through, it was phenomenal at the Red Bull Ring.
Good, yeah.
All three rounds were thoroughly enjoyable to watch occur. But as you say as well, Jack Smith can't really rest on his laurels, can he? With 7 points between him and Oliver Gibson, he needs to be gunning for all three race wins if possible. Now, if there's anyone who could do it, I'd be putting my money on Jack Smith to be able to do that. If you look at his consistency throughout the championship so far, he's just had the edge in terms of that consistency, I think, over Oliver Gibson. Although Oliver Gibson has maybe done arguably a better job at this point in certain points in the season. Rather, Oliver Gibson has looked equally strong. I think it's too close to call, really.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Oliver's got the highest score, which was Oschersleben. That was 60 points in our third event. And Jack Smith only 1 point behind him on his best score, which was Zandvoort. He was only one further point down on it last week. I think it said last weekend, but last week with 58 points. So Oliver is nearest to the perfect score at the moment. In fact, Jack Smith had 2 58s over the course of the meeting. I think either of them, normally when you get into this stage of the championship, you get to talk about drop scores coming into play, this, that and the other. And realistically, I can't see really whether a drop score is going to come into play and affect things with Smith and Gibson. I don't know whether you've done that last week, but I did start to look at it and basically thought I think we're just going to have to go with what we got. And see how they score, because the lowest scores, I think Oliver Gibson had a 33. So basically, I think if he scores better than 33 but lower than 44 over the course of the meeting, he can claw some points back. But of course, he and Jack Smith are normally scoring much higher than that. So I can't see that the 33-point drop is going to affect things in a positive way for him. So I think it's going to be a straight fight points-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Effectively a reset on the championship so far, and it all just comes down to who does the better job here at the Nurburgring GP circuit. And we've got a response from both Jack Smith and Oliver Gibson in this session so far. Both have gone and set effectively pole position with a 26.521. Identical times for these two drivers in this session so far. That is not something you see every day. It was a stronger second 2 and 3 for Jack Smith and a stronger third second for Oliver Gibson.
That's amazing, isn't it? Probably possibly sharing the setups again. Josh Martin is third, and Andy Dorman in fourth place. Andy wasn't with us last week, so it's great to have Andy Dorman back, and he's got straight back on it. It looks like the rest has done him good. If he stays in fourth position, that'll be his best qualifying of the season for Andy Dorman, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. The thing I didn't get to do was look at in touring cars we have the Wingfoot Award, which is effectively a qualifying championship. I was going to do that, but I didn't get time to amalgamate all the statistics. And I think we know who would have won, because obviously Jack Smith has had the most pole positions, but it would have been interesting with the other drivers to see how they ranked on their various qualifying times. Jack Smith tries to get the better of his brother Oliver Gibson. Oliver has had 2 pole positions. Jack has had 3, so if he gets this one, he'll match his brother with 3 poles, and then we would have to look at the other qualifying results to see on a notional Wingfoot Award how that would have played out.
Currently flying along is Jack Smith, has just ran through that middle sector of the lap, 44.7, so trying to improve on that 206.5. We come into now the final part of the lap, that iconic uphill sweep before the chicane, the turn 13, where you want to take as much curve as possible for the improved time, but you don't want to take too much curve because it will spin these cars out. These curves are designed to stop a Formula 1 car, not a very lightweight, small by comparison road car. And back onto the start-finish straight, having went through the Coca-Cola right-hander. That's going to be for Jack Smith. He crosses the line there for 206.2. A very nice lap indeed. That makes it look at Oliver Gibson.
He does, so he's going to get got his mitts on the notional Wingfoot Award at the moment, Jack Smith. So here is Adam Lyle. Adam's had some great racing over the course of the season. Down behind Adam is Daniel Heaps, Chris Blakey 8th, Scott Butner down in 9th. I think Scott's going to be keen to get back in front wheel drive. Shout out to Scott Butner, I think got engaged over the weekend or the last couple of days. So massive congratulations to Scott and his fiancée. Great to have some good news on the personal front from the paddock as well, to see that. We wish them all the very, very best.
On board at the moment with Adam Lyle. We saw just a snap of oversteer that he was able to correct. He's at the bottom part of the circuit now, the Dunlop corner. Sorry, he's not at all. He's at the I've already got completely messed up, and we're
easily done. Easily done,
only 10 minutes into the first racing session, so this is going very well indeed. Heading through the start-finish straight now, Adam Lyle, great lap for Adam there, 2 minutes 6.7. That was very close to what we saw in the provisional poll earlier on. Still 5 minutes to go. We'd expect at least one more, perhaps two fast laps with 5 minutes on the clock. So it's going to get a little bit feisty, I think, for our top five here in this session.
I think it will. Do you know what? I was having again looking at qualifying. Eric Axelsen might be the Wingfoot Award winner because he's not qualified lower than fourth. He had a brace of fourth positions, and he's in fourth place again in qualifying provisionally. So that is looking pretty handy for him. Jack Smith, having had that's actually 4 poles, isn't it? So Jack's had 4, but dropped with a 6 at the Norisring, so that would have made a little difference. Probably has outscored Eric in terms of the overalls, but Eric not that far away from the unofficial qualifying award. Josh Martin next. So having a look at Paul Laramie though, and good to see Paul, who is on his best days just outside or well inside the top 10. His best qualifying was 5th place at Zandvoort. Looking to make a little bit of progress. Thomas Potter behind him. Harry Ormerod is in 14th place. There's Olivia Krzyżanowska. Not sure whether Olivia gets very much racing in real life in the winter. You'll remember from the feature interview we did with Olivia earlier on in the season that she races at Lochgelly in a Speedworth Motorsport space frame 2-litre hot rod. And I'm not sure they have too many meetings. I think they tend to have the odd one around Christmas time, and whether the 2 litres are on or not there, I don't know. I did see some interesting news that Lochgelly will racing on the fire again this year. But I think with the cars that race at Calbeat, which is the other local circuit, Scotland's a very weird place to, in terms of stock car promotion, because you've got 2 promotions the 2 organisations that run on the same night, Saturday nights, Calbeat and Lochgelly, which are only about, I think, 8 or 9 miles apart. But both are on the same night. Why don't they talk to each other and run separately? I don't know. But anyway, we're moving away from Scotland now. We're picking up with Craig Curtis, who is in 11th place at the moment. And it's great to have Craig back with us. Last time we saw him was Hockenheim, which is why, if you've been watching with us, you might not recognise the livery. So it's a good few weeks ago that Craig Curtis was with us, and he is in 11th place at the moment, trying to gain some seconds on Scott Bugner, who wraps up our top 10 at the present time. 2 minutes 48 on the clock. There's Harry Ormerod, who we were hoping to have a chat with as our featured driver, but I think that's now been delayed. We'll maybe do it next season. So assuming Harry will join us, we hope he does join us for the World Touring Car Championship, which will kick off in January, and we'll give you more information about that just before the sign-off this evening. Just as a reminder to put in your diaries the dates for the next series. But Harry 14th at the moment from Christian Gillian, then Olivia Krzyżanowska, Lee Piercy 17th from John Jones, with Jack Smith still just at the top of the tree, Oliver Gibson and Adam Lyle. And this is beginning to look a little bit settled now, really.
It is, but there's still some improvement throughout the field. We've seen Eric Axelsen currently flying along with the purple sector, the back end stepping out, and Harry Ormerod's car there. He's on for an improvement at the moment, but let's stay along with Eric for the time being. A purple 39.1 through the first sector now. Let's see whereabouts he is on track here. Here he is now heading down towards, this is actually the Dunlop curve this time. Now we've got a very tricky braking zone, slightly off camber, downhill elevation change. You'll hear the words tricky braking zone and elevation change quite a lot here at the Nurburgring GP circuit. It is pretty well bestowed with them, but it makes for some great racing. And then we got the run all the way back up the hill where you can really exercise this 3.2 litre, 300 something horsepower engine. Marvellous engine if you're lucky enough to have driven one of these out on the road in real life. Thankful I've briefly at least been part of that club, and it is certainly a fantastic power unit, and a circuit like this will push it to its limit. Losing out slightly then through the second sector, Eric Axelsen, not a personal best there, but has a slight right-hand king to negotiate before the next tricky braking zone. And this is where laps can be made or lost here, really. We've seen quite a few personal best laps, personal best 1 and 2 sector, and then it all comes undone here through turn 13. Just rides the curve on exit, wants to get the power down as quickly as possible. Hitting the apex ever so slightly before you unwind the steering wheel, and it's back on the loud pedal to bring an end to the lap there. Let's see what it is going to be for Eric Axelsen. It is an improvement. It's just an improvement, and it was that sector one that really made the difference there. 206.5 for Eric Axelsen, probably puts him in 3rd place.
Yeah, Chris Blakey had a charge on that one as well. So Chris Blakey has leapfrogged into not only into the top 6, but actually onto the 2nd row. So Chris Blakey goes into 4th place. 5th is Adam Lyon, who was in 3rd. So Adam drops 2 places. And then Josh Martin down to 7th position. Andy Dorman is in there at the moment in 6th place. So typically, because I'm starting writing down the times, the clock now expires. We have some changes to do from that, with Eric Axelsen up into 3rd. But it's like the big change, really, yeah?
Yep, great final lap there from Jack Smith. Pulled it out the bag when it really mattered. At 206.1, he's now got a 3/10 gap to his nearest rival.
And crucially at the moment, that extra championship point, so it takes the gap out to 8 points. So a bit less work being to do over the 3 races. But 8 points in 3 races is a cushion, but not a big one, because there's 16 points for each race win, plus the point for fastest lap. And these boys are going to be going for every single point that they can get as we ride with Eric Axelsen, who has another lap to go. Wasn't purple in his 1st sector, so maybe we've seen the best of Eric. So P3 at the moment. It's Jack Smith having finished qualifying, Oliver Gibson in P2, Eric Axelsen 3rd, Chris Blakey in 4th place. Chris, yeah, again, Chris has been really strong on qualifying. Chris Blakey, he hasn't had the rub of the green in some of the racing, but very, very quick in terms of his qualifying lap times. Now here is Eric on the final lap of qualifying.
He abandons.
And he does abandon it, so he's into pit lane, so he will pick up the checker. Go back to Oliver Gibson though. What's Oliver Gibson got in the armoury? I would say perhaps not enough for a pole position lap, but you never quite know, because it's all going to hang on the last sector here, Rick.
Yeah, absolutely will. His Delta was looking briefly quite good there through the final sector. It's improving once again. It is right on a knife edge whether or not he will improve on his previous time. I think it's pretty much out the window, as you say, to go for that pole, but he's going to be in a great position regardless, right on that front row. I mean, that run into turn 1 can be very quickly changing the forecast of the race, really, so it'll be anyone's guess here. Let's see as Oliver Gibson comes across the line there, losing out time ever so slightly. Does cross the line there, actually does set a personal best of 806.427, but that leaves Jack Smith still on pole at the end of this session.
It does. Great result there for Jack Smith. That extra championship points, the checkered flag motif showing most of the way down the timing tower. I think Chris Blakey's still in with a shout, and Shields still showing as green, but our top 10 as they stand at the moment, and Chris Blakey is stranded on the side of the track. So top 10, Jack Smith from Oliver Gibson, Eric Axelsen, Chris Blakey, Adam Lyle, Andy Dorman, Josh Martin 7th from Scott Bubner, then Daniel Heaps, and the top 10 completed by Andy Carroll. And we'll be back with a word with our pole man in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back, and it's a welcome and well done to Jack Smith. Jack, that was pretty exciting stuff. You'd got the pole anyway, but then banged in another one late doors. So the effort's always there. You never really seem to be a driver that's happy to sit on his laurels.
No, always had to push that extra tenth. So yeah, really happy. I got knew there was a little bit of time left in that first lap. There's a few mistakes in that point two. So I thought I'd try and get it. Got it as much as I could without risking too much. I didn't want to. I don't know what Ollie's got up his sleeve, so even though we're in the same household, but yeah, so I just need to find as much time as possible, really, and yeah, just thankful I got it down on the circuit, so yeah, really happy.
That's good. Is the hot cabin occupied tonight? Is everyone watching there?
Of course, yeah, big finale. They're all over there already. Everyone's there, so all watching on from the hot cabin. So hello if you're watching from the hot cabin.
So we spoke to you last week, and we had sort of several podiums. What's your week like in between, Jack? Sort of going from event to event, and you've got a bit of time off now after this one, but specifically from the last event we were at Red Bull Ring, what's a typical week like for you in terms of maybe time on or off simulator or cars?
Yeah, so well, I work at a karting circuit at the minute as a mechanic, so it depends on what shifts I get per week, but yes, some days I'm at work, get home, and depending on how I'm feeling that day, maybe I'll hop on the sim for a little bit. But yeah, I usually do a little bit of practice, on the same week of the previous race, get rid of that hot lap in for the video, and then yeah, obviously do a bit of practice and start to sort a strategy out. So yeah, I do a lot of data stuff before each race. So I think I did maybe 2 sprint race runs and half a feature race, but on the mediums, just to see what they were like. So yeah, I do all sorts of prep for these races, but yeah, that's just what it takes really to be properly quick at these tracks. So yeah, you just got to keep going at 110% at it, and yeah, results come straight after. So yeah,
it's the life of the drive. How far away from you, going back to the work today, how far away from you is the kart track?
It's like half an hour drive, so I'll get good practice in my car on the so, yeah. So
do you coach anybody over there at all? Or are you sort of, I mean, you mentioned that you're a mechanic there, but do you get to go out and coach and shoot anyone over there as well?
Sometimes there's the Team Sport Driver Academy, or like Cadet Academy they call it. So back at the old circuit where I used to work at, when I was at uni, there was a driver academy type thing. So I was coaching people then, but yeah, as a mech we'd sort of just work on the cars rather than coaching and stuff. But yeah, I used to work as a data engineer for Rotax car team, so I did a bit of that on some certain weekends. I think on one weekend Jack Oliphant was commentating, so that was a bit weird hearing his voice in real life from the tannoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit fun. But yeah, it's just the same thing I wanted to do later on in life. So yeah, it was a good bit of experience. But yeah, I obviously drive the cars and stuff as well. So yeah, pretty decent in karts. Done the university championship with UConn, been successful in that. So yeah, I just try to do as much as I can do.
When you're coaching, is it very easy to spot someone you think, yeah, they've really got it?
Yeah, it probably maybe takes me a couple of corners to see what's what really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done it that long now that I can just sort of pick it up and it's there. So yeah, whether it's video or data or whatever, you can see loads just from the data alone. So yeah, you can tell someone's technique just immediately by looking at their brake trace or the steering inputs and stuff like that. So yeah, there's loads of bits I look out for immediately. So yeah.
I guess you must see lots of drivers who, but for budgets like yourself, would be better than a lot of, shall we say, stiffs on the track. So
yeah.
Right, you do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I used to work as a data engineer for SimTrack, it was like a simulator kind of setup where it's like a full chassis type thing. And we get people coming in with gift vouchers, and they'd always be like nowhere. You know, they come in and they're just so overwhelmed by everything, and they go off the track at every corner.
That'd be me, actually, to be honest.
To be fair, it's a big change from if you're especially going from real life stuff to the sim. It's completely different from going to the sim to real life, because you're losing all that feedback from real life when going to the sim. Whereas the other way around, you're gaining all this feedback and you don't really know what to do with it at first, and then you slowly pick it up. But yeah, the other way around is much harder. So yeah, there's ways of getting around it, but yeah, it's taken a while to learn how to teach people how to drive a sim. But yeah, it's just a very different sort of environment than a real car.
That's good. Back to tonight, obviously that's that extra point in the bag, so the points cap is 8 now to Oliver. So 3 races with 16 points per race. So it's not done, is it? But it's all the right direction, isn't it, Cole?
Yeah, and I got that backup of a drop round as well. So I've already did the maths, already ran the numbers. But yeah, 47 points in my drop round put me in good stead, really. And I think if I did hit that drop round, I think I only need 55 points from this round to win the championship. So as long as I do a bit better than that, then I think we should be decent. But yeah, you never know what happens in the races. So yeah, it's live sport. So yeah, anything can happen, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that. I mean, obviously, Ollie's drop is 33, which is, but then it means he's got to do worse than the 33 to bring that back in. So that puts you on a much better footing, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, feeling good. Yeah, just need to keep together and try not to make any mistakes.
When we did the Cooper Cup last time, which was the sort of first sort of run of the proper championship commentary that I did for Rich and VRRC, you guys weren't in it, so you're not that keen on front wheel drive. We're going to see you for the January campaign. I'm
really not that keen on front wheel drive, if I'm honest. I did one championship where I was alright, and when I practiced, I don't know if you remember, Rich, it was when Jordan Brennan was in it. I think he won that one in the end. And that first round, I think it was Alton or something like that. That was probably one of the best races of my life, still to this day. So yeah, I just need to get back to that level with the front wheel drive, and I think I'll be good. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the TCR championship, so you'll see me there. I'm going to try and persuade Ollie to do it as well, but at the minute he's really not that keen. So I'll try my best. But yeah, I will be there, so you'll see me like it.
That's good. I don't know if Reeve's got any questions as well, because we've got a little bit of an extended timescale for our poll interview, so really feel free to jump in and ask away if you want to. Obviously, Jack, you're not going to give us any idea of what the strategy is for race 3, because that'll give it away for everybody else. But you said you've already been through the prep, you've already done, full race or half race, you've tested the tyres. So how many hours do you reckon goes into preparing for each individual round?
So for this round, I did about, I'd probably say about 42 laps worth of practice. I think a full race distance here is about 7 laps. So yeah, I did about as much as I thought I needed. I got to a good pace in very few laps. I was really surprised at how quick I got on pace on this track. I even surprised myself. So but yeah, I've always clicked to the circuit, so it's just come naturally, which is good. But yeah, I'd probably say, I don't really know off the top of my head, maybe 4 hours worth of driving,
right,
something like that. On average.
Your data as well, or exactly the data?
Yeah, data as well. So yeah, I've got this spreadsheet that I can just copy paste and make a new one. So that's all there immediately. I just have to put numbers in it, and it comes out with an answer. So yeah, doesn't really take too much time. Data, I go and look at my lap, see what I've gained, what I've lost, and that's really how I just end up perfecting laps and stuff. But you never really perfect laps, but I mean, it's getting to that point where you're battling with hundreds and thousands. So it's it's always good to push the maximum, really.
I've also got him really busy doing the tyres for the touring cars for next season as well. Excellent. So he's busy doing lots of testing, getting me some decent soft, medium and hard tyres for the next championship.
Yeah, getting me used to driving a front wheel drive.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my, it's a big change.
We should get Oliver on it as well.
Yeah, I'll try and persuade him.
I hope you guys come back, because more the merrier as far as we're concerned on it. But anyway, just say well done, absolutely brilliant on 5 out of 8 pole positions, Jack Smith. Congratulations on that, and good luck for the race. We've got 1:43 to go, so I'll let you go and get ready. Thanks a lot, Jack. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
So we get them away early. Sprint race number 1 is coming up. Remember, last week we had, Rich Hayden was saying it was perfect last week, but we had the glitch in that we didn't have the second sprint race as a reverse grid. So things weren't quite 100%, but as near as I think they can be, Reeve. So, and that might affect things championship-wise, mightn't it, the reverse grid?
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. Obviously, there's then the argument that perhaps it reverses again for the feature race. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this Sprint 1 kicks off, because I think Jack Smith, especially we got that from lane 2, seems very cool, calm and collected at the moment, doesn't he? He seems to be... He's got a very close rival right behind him on the front row of the grid, but he doesn't seem to be all too concerned at the moment, even though it's a very close championship fight.
I think that's absolutely right. It's I think that's one way you've got to handle it for sure. So Jack is there on pole position. Oliver Gibson in P2. Eric Axelson lines up in 3rd place. Then it's Chris Blakey from Adam Lyle and Andy Dorman. Following Andy, Josh Martin and Scott Pugner. Daniel Heaps and Andy Carroll wrapping up the top 10. They're followed by Craig Curtis. Then Paul Laramie, Thomas Potter 13th, followed by Lee Pearcey. Harry Ormerod 15th, Christian Gillian. Then it's Olivia Krishnovska, John Jones and Stuart Vickers, and the lighting sequence is popping up on your screens now, and we are fully illuminated and ready to go here at Nurburgring for the first race of our last event of the 2024 BMW M3 Cup. It's a great start by Jack Smith, gets the car off the line well and will lead them down into turn 1 for the first time. So it's Smith from Gibson, and then Eric Axelson slots into 3rd place. Adam Lyle's looking for 4th on the inside run and trying to get up into 3rd. He's got the inside run as they head down in towards the arena and through the arena for the first time. Nice clean tidy start, which is what we expect on fastest off the front, and no real shocks there, but there's some good mid-order battling going on, Reeve.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't look like the most electric start there for Oliver Gibson, and in fact Eric Axelson looked poised to try and take that 2nd position, but he did recover it well. Did Oliver, as you say, Adam Lyle there seizing the opportunity to try and get ahead up into potentially 3rd. The first corner starts out quite wide, but it does narrow as you run through the exit towards the Mercedes complex there. But now we are seeing this little battle for the lead of the race. Now, I'm getting a bit of deja vu here from the Red Bull Ring, because it's Jack Smith versus Oliver Gibson as we head down towards the end of Sector 1.
It is very much like that, isn't it? Now, is Jack going to be able to get his head down and get away? Remember, these two were tied mid-session in terms of the qualifying, identical lap times. If that plays out again, we could see them not necessarily side by side, but running line astern, and then maybe if the pattern repeats itself, we'll see Jack get into a little bit of a groove and start to pull away. But Oliver Gibson, of course, might use the extra experience to gain a wee bit more speed as we watch Axelson ahead of Adam Lyle. Chris Blakey is 5th, Josh Martin in 6th place, so still plenty of action to develop there. Josh a little bit shy of the trio dicing over 3rd position at the moment. The meat in the sandwich of that trio is Adam Lyle, who is chasing. This bit reminds me of Donington Park. We're heading up into Schwartzker, which will be this bit, and then McLean's here, which is a little bit less tight than McLean's. And then, of course, we carry on uphill. This would be Coppet, so there are sort of not quite as steep as Coppet. It's not a double apex right-hand corner, but it does bring us back onto the main straight at the end of the first lap with Jack Smith 2nd clear at the moment over Oliver Gibson. Eric Axelson in P3. Early doors in the meeting, of course. 3 races to go through. If you've not joined us before on the Virtual Reality Racing Club BMW M3 Cup, it's fastest off the front for the first sprint race, 15 minutes, then top 10 reversed for race 2, top 10 results reversed, and then the final race, a little bit like Legends cars, the points are totally reversed from those scored in the first 2 races, with the top scorers starting at the back. So the reverse grids always provide us with great racing. Having said that though, we had race 2 last week, as you've already heard. We had fastest off the front. It started, I think, race 1. That was an absolute cracker anyway, so reverse grid or not, we've had some blinding racing in the last few rounds. And that looks to continue now, but for me, Reeve, it looks like everyone settling themselves into this race evening at the moment, fairly calmly.
Yes, absolutely. There we saw over the past lap or so that Adam Lyle was really wringing the neck out of his car there, pushing on, trying to find a gap to make himself squeeze past Eric Axelsen there. Eric just about stopping that with great defensive drive. As we'll see another battle going on here between Lee Pearcey and that will be Thomas Potter up in front of the black and green livery car there. But yeah, as you say, the challenge is slowly starting to wane. We are approaching a third distance into this sprint race now, so the tyres are going to be nice enough temperature. They don't want to push them too hard early on because these softs will probably begin to wear out if they do push them too hard. It's quite a high energy circuit, isn't it? Over in the GP with plenty of high speeds and heavy braking zones to negotiate. But here we are, Lee Pearcey having a look at the right hand kink up the, I'm going to call it the back straight. It's sort of the back straight, the run up to turn 13, as we see Thomas Potter now dancing over those curves. Through goes Lee Pearcey as well. The back axle actually kicking up into the air, and that forces him off wide. He loses a little bit of time as a result, but at least he hasn't spun around. Heads back onto that start finish straight now as Thomas Potter just pushes a bit too wide at this point of the lap there. Of course, only a third distance in, while the tyres might be nice enough temperature. The fuel loads are going to be perhaps not quite quali trim at this point, so there might be a bit of weight in the car still as well.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? And the cars will change, the drivers have to adapt, and we see Lee Pearcey fighting it there. So Lee, remember here, racing against the driver that took the feature race last week. Really good bit of strategy from Thomas Potter. Drove very well. He didn't have the rubber green in the first two races, the sprint races, and that got him a position towards the front of the grid, but executed the strategy absolutely superbly to hang on from the pair we're looking at the moment. There's Oliver Gibson in second place, actually not losing out to Jack Smith at the moment. Now, in terms of hanging on is going to be one thing, but trying to find a mistake from Jack Smith out front, if he can get close enough, is going to be another matter as well. But they're clear of Eric Axelsen. They've got the length of Eric Axelsen here. Eric in a little bit of a lonely third position. That's a lovely shot there, as Axelsen goes through, followed by Lyle, Blakey, Josh Martin 6th, Scott Putner having a quiet day for him down in 7th place, Adam Carroll in 8th from Daniel Heaps. Thomas Potter completes the top 10, still being chased by Lee Pearcey. And although we might not see out-and-out door handling or racing or even nose-to-tail stuff, this is still drivers absolutely on their limits. And where we've got to try and pick up is if drivers could start to claw the little gaps back, and that's what we've seen Oliver Gibson do since the end of lap 1. It was half a second, and he's managed to get a 10th out of his brother at the moment. But look at that shot through the chicane. Brilliant shot there, and shows how committed these drivers are.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic camera angle there. Reminds me of early DTM. I wasn't around for DTM in its heyday, but I love those DTM. What I'm saying is it's heading through that corner there. As you say, Oliver Gibson was on for a bit of a corker on that previous lap. 206.549. That would have seen him doing very well in qualifying. I think drivers now feeling a little bit more comfortable in the car. They're in a bit of a rhythm now. Jack Smith, Oliver Gibson pushing on quite nicely, but as you say, Oliver Gibson might just be now beginning to mount a charge as he just caught a glimpse of Adam Lyle pushing on a little bit too wide into the corner, perhaps under threat from Chris Blakey now. But let's have a look at our two front runners once again as we come towards the end of second one in just a brief moment before we run downhill towards the Ford curves in just a second here. Not far off actually, half race distance already, and we're only just starting the fourth lap. It is a long lap here at the Nurburgring GP circuit, and in case you want a longer Nurburgring lap, as we alluded to before, there's the 14 miles of the Norisring to negotiate yet, which I'm yet to go on there. Hopefully this year I'll be at the Norisring.
It's well worth the visit. It's an absolutely mega bit. It's a little bit spoiled for me in terms of the track graffiti and stuff like that, but forget that, the actual track is mega. I went out with one of the mates a few years ago, an MGB GT, so an old, nice old classic car, and drove that around. He managed to pinch an MGA off somebody else. So we didn't race, but we did have a little bit of a go round there. It's just a mega track. You won't regret going.
Fantastic stuff. I'll look forward to it then. Oliver Gibson at the moment seem to be not quite on pace with where they were just a lap ago. All the personal best laps coming in from the mid-pack. At the top of that mid-pack is Chris Blakey and Adam Lyle as we now head up towards the end of the lap. back once again. A bit more momentum in Chris Blakey's car. Has a look around the outside there. Very brave move. They're going to be pretty much side by side. This gives him the inside for the turn 13 left-hander who goes later on the brakes. It's Chris Blakey there. The corner switches back. They are still side by side. Bit of a switchback move for Adam Lyle. I think Chris Blakey's just about got a nose ahead, but still the inside goes on Lyle for the final corner. And it's going to be anyone's guess really as we run out into that first corner. Now Chris Blakey is just about to get the overtake sealed, but still you're not.
Lovely clean bit of racing between the pair of them, and Adam now trying to make the move, so he goes out wide, tries to get a little bit more momentum as they go down into turn one. This is not a move you see pulled off very often, but he's done it there. He grabs the outside line, holds on to the inside again. Good, clean, fair racing from Chris Blakey alongside him. And this is bringing Josh Martin and perhaps Scott Buckner into the mix as well. So a duo becomes a trio, then becomes a quartet rather. Quintet hopefully a little bit later on with 5 minutes to go on the clock. Eric Axelsson still Billy no-mates at the moment in third, just going out of shot. This isn't quite a quartet yet, is it? Because Chris has lost a wee bit of ground, maybe looking in his mirrors at Josh Martin and Scott Buckner closing up. Josh and Scott maybe could get involved in their battle as well, but really excellent stuff from Lyle and Blakey. Excellent, good, clean racing, which is what we want from those two, and they've delivered that. We go back with Chris trying to close down on Adam Lyle again, just to get up towards the podium, but you can see that ahead of this quartet, Eric Axelsson still holding on to third place. Really weird that we haven't seen Eric on the podium since Norisring. He won race 1 at the Norisring, and we haven't seen him on the podium since then. Obviously missed the Zandvoort round due to work commitments, so we might be getting the opportunity to chat to Eric, which would be good, and he'll be just gunning for whatever points he can get here as this battle continues. It's closing up again. Adam will be, I think, tempted to look in his mirrors and see how this is panning out. Maybe not be too concerned, because there are 3 cars behind him now, so it means that the immediate threat could be getting engaged in battle as well. So Chris Blakey's got to some extent, think about looking behind as well as going up front. But having said that, Adam Lyle looking a little bit squirrely there, and that's going to lose him a wee bit of time. Chris Blakey also responds with a bit of opposite on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're now hitting the point where 15 minutes in, these soft tyres are beginning to show signs of aging. Now we're starting to give up. Let's not forget, the sprint race, we could also be featuring more hardcore setups of people that are going to work those tyres a little bit harder, are going to get the utmost grip out of the car. Cost of tyre longevity, we could be seeing some of that creep in, but it does not bode well for the soft in the feature race at least, and certainly does not bode well for these drivers in the midst of this battle. Over. It is great to watch, to see these drivers absolutely on the limit, working really hard to keep this car pointed in a straight line. No lovely assists that you get in a modern road car, of course. It's all just about the connection between the driver and the road and trying to get the overtakes done here, as we are on board now with Josh Martin, which gives us a great view of the battle that we were looking at just a few moments ago when it was a battle of 2. It is, of course, as we say now, a battle of 4 as we head to the bottom part of the circuit. Just a quick mention of the pace of Jack Smith out in front. I mentioned the tyres slightly dropping off perhaps, but Jack Smith is still posting absolutely blinding laps. 206.4 on the last lap, his best being a 206.3. 3 minutes to go in this race. He might be looking good for that feature race. Of course, strategy coming into the mix there as well, but let's see as these 4 continue to battle for P4 in the sprint race.
Chris Blakey's done a super job in this group, because not only is he not worried about what's going on behind, he's kept in touch with Adam Lyle. He's actually challenging him now as well. So much to talk about in this race. Championship-wise, of course, it's a 4-point difference between race win and second place. So Jack Smith getting another 4 points there. Provisionally fastest lap of the race as well at the present time. So that would be a 5-point extension on the 8 that he has, and take him out to 13. As Chris Blakey having to defend here from Josh Martin. Scott Buckner is up to play as well, and Scott's with nothing to lose, so he'll be keen to try and nip past if he can. And Blakey looks down the inside there, went very tight into the turn, but that left him wide on the exit of Coca-Cola, and that's going to now allow Josh Martin to go through. And Josh has got his nose in front and has the inside line to head down towards turn 1.
Yeah, As we can see there as well, Adam Lyle being very cautious there, trying to defend from 2 cars, late on the brakes though for Chris Blakey, responded to the threat of Josh Martin there and defends from the outside line, and not every day that we see that, but that was a great move. Slight bit of contact there, door banging from Josh Martin and Scott Buckner. That gives Scott Buckner the inside. He goes up into 3rd in this battle at least, demoting Josh Martin down ever so slightly. Chris Blakey can focus a little bit more on what is going on out in front. Josh Martin, Scott Buckner, and I think that is an off potentially for Scott Buckner, is it not? No, they were able to carry on, but it was not looking good as we ran through turn 4 then.
Josh Martin 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and he's now at the back of the pack where he's looking to lead this quartet, meanwhile hanging on as he has from the start. Actually, I don't like the term hanging on, it makes it sound a bit desperate. It's not desperate at all. Holding the lead position, you should say, of this group is Adam Lyle, and holding 4th position. Meanwhile, Josh Martin getting back in to have a look at Scott Buckner here, and Chris Blakey, lovely bit of racing from Chris, who lost 5th position but then got it back gamely, and he's still trying to get back in touch with Adam Lyle for P4 as Josh Martin wants the position back here, side by side with the man who just rubbed him, as you heard Reeve Taylor say earlier on, and this time he goes through, or goes back I should say, into position cleanly, and Josh Martin can't at the moment find the way through. So it was just a bit of a rub, wasn't it, when they were going through the Mercedes arena with the pace changes, but all is good there. Meanwhile, 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Can we squeeze another lap out of it, or are we going to be on to the last 2? You can see grid lines there, so we've got 11 seconds on the clock, and Jack Smith is going to go down and across the line, so now goes on to the final tour of this one. He probably could have done with a checker, although no, Jack actually probably would be happy with the extra lap from Oliver Gibson. Eric Axelsson still in 3rd place, Adam Lyle in 4th, but coming under pressure again from Chris Blakey, who's looking down the inside. Now Adam Lyle's on the outside, which if he can hold it will be the inside for the second part of the Mercedes arena, but Blakey's still got his nose in front. Is he going to be able to get across here? They go through the twists, the turns, and at the moment Blakey's got it, hasn't he? Super job by Chris Blakey there, down the main straight, read the circuit well, read Adam Lyle well too, but this battle is far from over. Chris Blakey at the moment holds P4.
Yeah, beautifully executed entry there into that first corner, because what made the difference, he just had so much more momentum compared to Adam Lyle, who had to try and defend almost from the outside. We've seen work a few laps ago. Unfortunately, when it was just the 2 of our drivers there, it was not enough for Adam Lyle to try and keep Chris Blakey in check. Now he's got a very tall order to complete hand Adam Lyle, because Chris Blakey has got a car length already. Will that be enough of a gap to maintain on this, the final race lap in this race? We'll just have to find out in just a moment. Up the hill once again, Adam Lyle putting that pressure on. Scott Buckner still very close indeed. Josh Martin just dropping off ever so slightly, but is still close enough just in case anything happens on this final lap rather, you never know. And we come up towards turn 13 in just a second. No, not turn 13 quite yet. We've still got a little bit of ways to go. I promise I do know this track as the back end steps out on Chris Blakey's car there, and the tyres by no means happy at all at this point in the race. Meanwhile, our front runners heading through the final part of the lap now.
Yeah, I think we're not going to get a chance to chat with Chris as things stand at the moment, because Jack Smith will head towards Coca-Cola for the last time. Might have bought himself a Coca-Cola by way of celebration by taking fastest lap, which he's still got. Pole position in the qualifying, and it's a lights to flag victory for the championship leader. So Jack Smith takes it, Oliver Gibson will take P2. Eric Axelsson completes the podium. We get a chat with Eric, with Chris Blakey taking 4th position from Adam Lyle. Scott Buckner having a go at him on the line to try and get past. Scott in 6th, Josh Martin in 7th, Daniel Heaps. I haven't mentioned Daniel in that one, but a good strong 8th position for Daniel Heaps from Andy Carroll. Andy Dorman wraps up the top 10. Thomas Potter was in 11th. Andy Dorman, I think, was top pole position therefore for race 2. Christian Gillian next up from Craig Curtis. No, Olivia Krishnovska next up. Something I think might have happened to Olivia Krishnovska if we look at Andy Dorman going a little bit oppo on us. So Craig Curtis in 14th. Paul Aramey next up from Lee Pearcey, Harry Ormerod and John Jones, and we'll have our podium chats in just a minute or so. back to our podium, and we're going to swap things around. Reeve's going to interview our third place driver. So Eric Axelson is with Reeve. Well done, Eric.
Thank you very much, Richard, and congratulations, Eric. It's been a little while since not only have you been giving us a podium interview, but also since I've had a chance to chat with you as well, Eric. So great to virtually see you again, I suppose, and congratulations on third place in that race. We didn't see too much of you, so just talk us through your race from your perspective.
Oh, hi, Reeve. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I did my best in quali. I put a lap in that I was happy with, really. Not really close to the pole, but then starting in P3, I think, yeah. I mean, try to be mindful at the start, really, and yeah, I think Adam was really close on me, like for 2-3 laps, and but once, I don't know, like a lap, like a fourth lap or something, I was able to pull away and found some pace, and not quite enough to keep up with Ollie, but yeah, I was still happy with my pace.
Yeah, it certainly was good out there. Do you think that was the tyres warming up, getting into a more comfortable zone, or do you just feel like you were just able to kind of hook into the car nicely and find a rhythm in race trim?
Yeah, I think honestly, and also the fact that Adam was so close on the first couple laps made me like a bit, you know, like I look too much in the mirrors, I think.
So how did the tyres hold up then in that race? It's something we'll chat about a lot, obviously, with the sprints and the features coming up. The soft tyre, did it work well at this GP circuit with all the high speeds?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they are too bad. Like at the end of the race, you might notice that you lose some time, really, but nothing crazy happens. You don't lose the car like out of the corners or anything like that. At least I don't think. But you lose some pace for sure. But that's about it, I think.
Good stuff. So, obviously, last time we got to speak to you quite a lot, or at least myself did. I haven't been here for every round of this season. It was in the Cupra Leon Cup, of course. On next season as well will be the TCR Championship. So back into the front wheel drive. So. How have you found the M3 so far this season? Are you looking forward to getting back into front-wheel drive machinery, or have you liked the rear-wheel drive stuff?
Well, to be honest, I really enjoyed this championship and the car, the tracks. But I think that this championship has been great, and especially the cars. I think maybe one of the best we've used in a championship, but. On the other hand, I haven't really been able to be up there. You know, with Ollie and Jack on pure pace, they have been like a tiny bit faster than me. I think I'm more comfortable in a front-wheel drive car, but it's still been amazing.
Yeah, it certainly looks good to drive. I haven't had the chance to drive one of these myself, but I do definitely want to give it a go at some point. Of course, we saw you take race victory at the Norisring, so hoping to replicate that at the Nurburgring GP circuit. Are you a fan of this track?
Yeah, I think it's an awesome track, really. I love it. Well, that would be great if I could replicate that, but I'll do my best. Stay out of trouble, and yeah, trying to have like a fun last round, really. I'll do my best as usual.
Of course, it will be a mean feat, given the next sprint race coming up being reversed order. Maybe a chance in the feature race as well, but looking at that sprint race coming up in just a second, obviously you'll be starting in kind of in the mid-pack, in the midst of things. Any changes in kind of how you're going to go about your race here at the Nurburgring?
No, like always in the second sprint race, is just trying to be like mindful in the start, and yeah, take it from there. And yeah, I'm trying to gain as many position as possible, really. So yeah, I'll do my best.
we wish you the best of luck in that. Always great to see you racing, so I'm sure we'll see some good action from you for the remainder of the weekend. Thank you very much for joining us, Eric, and congratulations once again on P3 in race 1.
Thank you, Reeve.
Thanks, Reeve. Congratulations to Eric. Let's catch up with the man who finished in 2nd position, Oliver Gibson, hopefully back from your break. Is that right? Are you there?
I am indeed back, yeah.
Congratulations, and not too far away from Jack in that one.
Yeah, not bad, to be fair. I mean, Jack is an absolute demon at this track, so to be sort of with him at the start was quite nice, and then just, I think I cut my tyres and he was on his way, so I need to work on that. I mean, that's something I've struggled with all series really, is the tyre wear, so good to see I haven't learned anything. But yeah, it was good to be with him at the start. I think the pace was good, and then just dropped off, a few mistakes as well. And yeah, it's just should really do a bit better towards the end, but 2nd race, another chance, and then obviously that 3rd race we can have a bit of fun, I think.
Do you think it will be game over after this one? I mean, the gap's 11 points now.
To be honest, I think it was, as soon as I saw it was Nurburgring this last round, I think it was game over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, none of those. I'm just going to enjoy it tonight. That's sort of my attitude with this one. But yeah, just try and push him as hard as I can, and then you never know, something might happen, but I highly doubt it. So I'm just going to go out, enjoy it, and enjoy the last few races of 2024.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I mean, I would imagine you've enjoyed the series so far. I think that's your 15th podium, if my stats are right. So, not a lot to be grumpy about.
Oh yeah, is it 15 this series?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I have enjoyed this championship actually. These cars are quite fun, and yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky having time off and not racing. I mean, next week I'll get in, I'm not racing, and then week after that I wish I was racing. So yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, it's been a good series for me, and hopefully I can continue this and try and get Jack eventually.
It will happen, won't it? It's any driver coming into it, or they're always relative targets. If you're a brand new driver coming into a championship, you're looking to get in the mix, maybe at the back of the field. And if you're in a position like yourself, I mean, as I say, 15 podiums. The only thing you could do, 15 podiums normally, by the way, would probably be enough to win a real world championship. But we all have our targets, don't we? And everyone drives to the guy that's winning it. So, and I'm sure you get there, because that happens in other championships if you keep working away at it. But I'm the same as you, Oliver. Get to the racing season, get to the end, think, yeah, really looking forward to it. Have a weekend at home, and then have a weekend at home and think, I wish there was some racing on.
Honestly, especially with F1 finish now, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Actually, I could work on fixing my tyre wear issues, and yeah, so I can be a bit more mindful in the next 2 races. I don't know, that's my winter break tyres.
It's good. Maybe we have to get Rich to put some fun racing on or something.
I heard something about this, I won't say.
Okay.
I'll let Rich do his thing. But,
okay, he's poorly. But by the way, for those who are listening in, maybe haven't heard as much of Rich Hayden as normal, he's been quite poorly over the last few days, and he's not right. So I don't expect him to come on mic, but Rich, we all wish you well, and thank you for putting on the show tonight for us. I really appreciate that. Oliver, well done. I'm going to let you get away because we've still got to do our winners interview, but well done on a 15th podium of the campaign, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, cheers guys.
Well, mate.
And speaking of podiums, at the top step of the podium, it is Jack Smith. Pole to race victory, Jack. That must have been enjoyable. Certainly enjoyable for us to watch. How was it for you?
Yeah, not bad. Bit stressful with Ollie. He's got a fair bit of pace in race trim, so yeah, at the start just trying to manage mistakes, make sure I didn't make a single one, which is always it's never easy. So yeah, you just have to keep your head down, keep focused, and try your best. But yeah, we got there in the end, and I think got fast lap as well. So yeah, did really well for race 1.
Yeah, certainly was a good race for you there. We did see Oliver keeping that pressure on. It looked like it was perhaps going to wane at the very start, but as you say, his race pace did claw him back into the mix there. Is that something you're going to be worried about coming into the reverse grid race coming up in a moment, when obviously he's going to be starting slightly ahead of you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, anything can happen. Like I was saying to Richard, it's live, so yeah, a single mistake really can really determine the race at this point. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Gonna have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a good race, and yeah, we'll see if we can carry momentum through to race 3 and beyond, really. So yeah, we'll see what we can do, and hopefully the tyres don't fall off as quickly as they did last race.
Yeah, that leads me on to our next point, actually. The tyre wear, it did look like late on those softs were starting to give up ever so slightly. Is race 2 a chance to try and learn a little bit more about them, perhaps in the midst of pack battling a bit more in preparation for that feature race?
Yeah, I mean, I did a fair bit of tyre practice, just make sure I learned tyres before this round. So, but yeah, still, I had a big moment that last race. I had a big snap of oversteer through a left-hander, and it nearly put me in a wall. So, yeah, it's always, it can catch you out when the grip falls away and they really do fall away on these tyres. So, yeah, it's just one of them things. You'll see the pace drop off towards the end of a race, and yeah, I'm just interested to see what everyone does for the feature race. So, yeah, keep eyes out for that.
Yeah, we certainly will be. Jack, I'm going to have to let you go because it's just under 1 minute now until lights out. Congratulations once again on race 1 victory.
Yeah, cheers, Rudy.
So there we go, that's our podium interviews complete. We're looking forward to our second sprint race, the first reverse. Every race is a different story, isn't it, which we really, really love. If you're watching it for the first time, welcome along, thanks for joining us. And if you've got a rig of your own, why not join the club and get involved for next year? You don't have to be on the pace of the front runners, you don't have to be on the pace of the guys at the back, because there are opportunities within VRRC to bring you up to speed with those runners. So there are coaching opportunities and plenty of help and encouragement available. So yeah, if you are getting to watch this live for the first time, make some inquiries, come and join us. Lighting sequence is very nearly with us though, and we're about to light the track up as well here at Nurburgring. And well, I thought we were in for a reverse, but we've got the Smith brother, the two brothers on front rank, so that's caught me out just a little bit. This is going to help Jack Smith's championship chances. Eric Axelson a lot quicker off the line. So too was Oliver Gibson, who's going to have a look down the inside there. 3 wide going down in towards turn 1. Eric Axelson on the outside, getting back up into 4th place is Chris Blakey, but Adam Lyle's going for the outside run, but Oliver Gibson's got the better of the start, but he's not on the inside run now as they come through the arena. Side by side they go. Jack Smith's on the wrong side of the track for turn 5. Is he going to be able to hang on to that? They're still side by side again, giving each other room, and it is Jack Smith that goes through into the lead as they come out of, I said turn 5, it's actually turn 4 out of the Mercedes arena, and then head down towards turn 5 now. So worrying start there perhaps for Jack Smith, but dealt with it, cool as a cucumber. And Reeve, you were saying that he sounded very cool, and he's certainly driving cool as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a repeat of race 1 here as we see Adam Lyle briefly putting that pressure on Eric Axelson. In fact, he is going to continue to do so, but Mike Wayne later on into the race we shall see. Jack Smith, they're just about now getting into control of things here. I think it might be easier in terms of championship standings, but the stakes are even higher now. Arguably, one gentle tap in the wrong direction could see you spinning out, and that's it. Championship's hopes dash now, because you're already in these point scoring positions. You've now got to stay there for the next 15 minutes. Eric Axelson, though, is doing his best to try and put that pressure on those 2 front runners. We know that Eric likes this. He seems to be singing his praise. He seems to really enjoy driving this car, which is great to hear, even if he hasn't quite got the results that he did get in the Cupra Leon Cup. He's certainly trying his best to get those results this time out, though. Adam Lyle, obviously in the midst of a fantastic battle in race 1, hoping to replicate that in race 2. I am sure having a bit of a look on the inside potentially here as we head into the chicane at the end of the lap. That'll be a bit too early doors for an elbows out move though, as we see Oliver Gibson also getting a nose in to have a look to see if he can go through the outside there. As we pretty much are trading paint. In fact, I think we are heading through the Coca-Cola curve there onto the start finish straight for our first full racing lap of this race.
Yeah, Adam Lyle was the man challenging Eric Axelson there. Had a look up the inside, didn't quite have the momentum to get out of the Coca-Cola corner and make that stick, but he's got the pace, and he's now going to look down the inside. Eric maybe knows that if he can hang on to the outside, he'll hold on to the position. No, he doesn't do that, because it looks like Lyle is clear, and Eric's on the outside as they head around turn 3, down towards turn 4 they go again. Eric, if he can hold on here, they go side by side, mid-track. Eric's got his nose up the inside. Here they come. Eric Axelsson has got the line. That was very well read by the Swede. Hangs on to position. This squabbling is going to allow the top two to get away again. Josh Martin is in 5th place. The loser in terms of positions from start on the opening, that was Chris Blake, who started 4th, and he's down in 7th place now. Daniel Heaps is next. Daniel is where he started in 8th position. Don't give Daniel too much of a shout out. Christian Gillian has come up from 12th and is up into 9th. So good opening that from Christian Gillian. So he'll be pleased with that one ahead of Lee Pearce and Craig Curtis, but we have had that change to 3rd place. Adam Lyland's got through. Eric Axelsson now trying to get it back.
Yeah, very late on the brakes there for Eric Axelsson. Wasn't able to make the move stick. It was closed off by Adam Lyland. Probably can see it coming from a mile back in those rear view mirrors there, but Eric's going to go for it again actually now to run up. Back up the hill now. Our two front runners still door to door, pretty much door to door for Adam and Eric as well. Adam on the inside there, pushing, sorry, not pushing, forcing Eric out wide there. Has to rejoin the circuit behind Adam. And is now on the back foot a little bit because here is Josh Martin, here is Scott Bugner. I've seen this one before, it's deja vu all over again. As Adam Lyle leads this quartet running up toward the chicane.
I normally say what's the French for deja vu, but I definitely don't know what the German is for deja vu. Maybe someone will pop it in the feed if you're watching that one, if there is a German linguist watching the racing this evening. But yeah, super stuff by Adam Lyle. Eric Axelsson keen to get back to his teammate Josh Martin right behind him as well. But the thing that struck me when Eric was fighting back is how they were giving each other room, Adam Lyle and Eric Axelsson. He was really clean, really respectful. They know each other really well. They know they both want to get a decent points haul here if they can, just to consolidate where they are in terms of the championship. Remember, Eric Axelsson 3rd in the standings at the moment. Probably settled actually. He's got 276 points coming into the event with 210 points for Josh Martin, the man who, I was going to say he's hounding him. There's a car's length or so between Eric and Josh, both in the green Dean Martin contractors livery, the green and black of the Swede, Eric Axelsson, and the green and silver of Josh Martin, who's chasing him. But we, though, are with the Swede, and Eric Axelsson chasing Adam Lyle here. Adam, who's had a pretty good campaign. We've had a number of occasions to talk to him on the podium, and at the moment it looks like we might be getting the chance to do so again, because he is in P3 as Eric tries to close down. This is kind of the bit in the race where we've got around about just over a third of the way through this one, and very often you find that things settle down. We've got 5 cars line astern with Chris Blake in the back. We talked about quintets in the previous race, quartets rather. This is now quintet for the 3rd position. This is by no means settled. Smith and Gibson still away at the front. Fastest lap of the race is with Oliver Gibson in P2, as he did in the early stages of race 1, but he does look a little bit closer to Jack Smith in this one. We can't take our eyes off the scrap for 3rd place as the leaders continue to build the gap over that final podium position. So Eric will be keen to get another one. It will be a really good anti-score for him if he can do it. But Adam Lyle doing a supreme job now. He's got in front of staying there, and Eric runs a little bit wide, so too does Josh Martin. That dishevels the car and Scott Bugner right with him, but not quite with enough momentum to be able to go through.
No, just missing out there. Adam Lyle, it must be said, is at this phase of the race seems to be perhaps a little bit more comfortable than race 1. The benefit, of course, for the drivers of not having their first good race for the second go around here for the sprints is that they can take their findings, their experience from that first sprint race into this second one now, so they might know the foibles of their opponents. They might know how to make the time lapse just a little bit longer now that they haven't had to work their way through up the pack as they were perhaps expecting to. Eric is still doing an almighty job of keeping up, though. It must be said that last lap was a little bit slower, but we're now getting to the point where the lap times are tumbling down. The fuel load is starting to drop off. The tyres have sort of got some life left in them, so we're starting to see some decent lap times here. Jack Smith, for example, who were on board with his rival Oliver Gibson, 206.8 last time around, the fastest lap of this race so far. These two, it's a pretty common sight so far this weekend. Jack Smith and Oliver Gibson following each other in tandem through the corners. I actually quite like the way that these liveries play out. Of course, I've mentioned it before, great pair of liveries, they sync up very nicely. And also, if you do happen to be trading paint, you're only going to be hitting the same colour on this livery, so it works out quite well for the body shop.
I like that. I'm not so sure they'd agree with you if it was real world racing and trading, but I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see all the entire field, to be honest. A challenge for the leads, and Oliver Gibson has a look there, and yeah, Jack Smith, maybe this is absolutely crucial. Smith's got the point at the moment for fastest lap. That takes the championship gap out to 12 points. Remember, it's 16 points for a win. So as long as Oliver can keep within 16 points, he's in with the shout of the championship. I'm not even going to get into drop scores, although it's interesting to know that Jack Smith had done all the sums, and probably in a lot more detail than I had, probably on his spreadsheet that he was talking about as we go through Coca-Cola again. But Oliver Gibson really giving notice there that he was keen to try and get back in front, riding with Eric Axelson, who's got back into third position. Adam Lyle now has been dropped down to fifth, so Adam with a huge amount of work to do. The podium is as it was in race number one, but fourth position slightly different because Josh Smith is there now as Adam Lyle starts to rebuild his efforts to try and get back up towards the podium as the two teammates go side by side. Don't take each other out, lads. Josh Martin on the outside, Eric Axelson in 57 on the inside, and here comes Adam Lyle coming up to play as well.
Yep, still down the inside there, the back end stepping out, so Josh Martin's car did very well to catch that. That was full opposite lock, backs out of it there because there's no room for an E36 3 Series to fit Eric Axelson. Then back up into third position, a familiar position for him after race one. He's having to work a bit harder for it though here in race two. Adam Lyle trying to dispatch of Josh Martin, put the pressure back on Eric, but here is Josh, collected himself after the slightly shall we say, pressured start to this lap, and is still ready to compete for a potential podium here. Chris Blakey not too far behind at all. I think if the E3 continue to squabble on in the final 5 minutes, he's going to be also poised to fight for that position. This has been a great racing pack. They've learned how to battle each other in race one. They've brought that experience here into race two, and they're going to continue for as long as possible.
They will. I'm just getting into the scenario now. I was thinking that if Jack Smith decided he didn't want to do race 3, that would make this meeting his drop score. So he might potentially have done enough to provisionally win the championship in this one. I hadn't worked that scenario out. So I'll leave that to you, Reed. Get the abacus or calculator out. No, I'm just joking. I don't think you'd have to do that.
I like a bit of a late season championship spreadsheet maths there. I like to break out the maths. I think in your next interview I might have to start doing some tallies and totting up and making probabilities and nuances, etc.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of if he doesn't race 3, which he will, of course, but in the real world you get drivers that sit it out. Joseph Doble, who won the BMW real world, the Nanking Tyres BMW Cup this year, sat out the last race. I think he actually ended up losing the championship after scrutineering, which was a pity for him and the championship as well. It was Conor Grady that was presented with the winner's trophy at the weekend awards up in Nottingham. But Joseph, basically decided he didn't want to risk going out for the last race. So there is always that. But I think with online racing, people are just going to do every single race possible, and that's what we want to see in the real world too.
Yeah, absolutely. Final few minutes of this race now. Eric Axelson, I thought, might have had the chance to dispatch of this pack within the previous lap. Now, we saw some great pace for him on the past few laps, a consistent 207.4. That's the best on this lap as well, but I think that's only just because he's being pushed along by Adam Lyle and Josh Martin here. Josh obviously trying to find a way past Adam Lyle, get back into the position that he was in a few laps ago, but Adam trying to get that podium, which he's been oh so close to for the past few laps, and in fact the past couple of races now as well. Must be said, despite all of their battling, this pack are really not letting Jack Smith and Oliver Gibson get away from them, are they? It's quite remarkable actually that it's still only a few seconds separating these two packs. Yeah, you're correct. That's definitely the case. Chose the pace of Eric Axelson. Adam Lyle, we know, is quick as well. And they've not squabbled too much. They've kind of got on with the job of trying to make sure that they're putting in decent laps. And there's a little bit of battling going on with this carriage as well. So I'm wondering how defensive Jack Smith is having to be here, and we'll pick that up on the interviews at the end of the race. Smith's still there from Oliver Gibson, and it looks like Oliver is a lot happier in this race and
closer. We've already seen one serious attempt at the lead, and we could be about to build into another one here for Oliver Gibson. He will need to if he wants to be in with half a chance going into the last race. At the moment, the gap, as we said, 11 points. It will go out another 3 if things stay the way they are. So it'll go out to 14 points the gap, and 16 points for a win, 1 point for fastest lap, 14 for second. I think I alluded to the gap between first and second being 4 points earlier on. Apologies if that confused anyone. It is 16, 14, 12, 10, 9 for the top 5. A little bit further back, not that much further back. Chris Blakey, who was 4th in race 1, coming under attack here from Daniel Heaps, the youngster from Ireland, having a very good look there, try and get up into 6th position. Daniel can't quite do it there, but does practice his drifting as he comes through the Mercedes Arena complex.
Yeah, gets all the style points there, but maybe not the fastest way around the corner. Tried to hang it around the outside. There's been contact here between, looks to be Craig Curtis and Lee Piercy. Lee Piercy spun around there, unfortunately, late on into the race. It had to happen sooner or later this weekend. But yeah, an unfortunate incident for those 2 drivers there. Meanwhile, Adam Lyle very much looking in his rearview mirrors at the moment. It is Josh Martin who is completely occupying them as we run down towards the lowest point of the circuit, and a textbook move there up the inside through the Dunlop right-hander. Is he going to lose the momentum though? This exit is very important at this circuit. You want to get on the throttle as soon as you feel that car has got enough grip to do so. And there we can see a flash of the headlights from Adam Lyle, putting that pressure on, saying, I'm going to find a way past you. I made the joke last time out. In fact, no, I think I made an indicator joke, so I'll make a joke this time about how it's a very common sight to see your high beams being flashed from a BMW right behind you. As we head now through to the final part of the lap in just a moment. The high beams stay on this time out. Adam Lyle taking a slightly tighter line on exit there to see if the track is going to open up to him, but unfortunately doesn't have the momentum this time round.
Josh Martin hanging on to a good 4th place here at the minute. They've lost ground on Eric Axelsen, but here comes Adam Lyle, who's going to have another go. Lyle has been a good attacking driver again in this one, and good sensible driving from him as well. And now draws side by side. It's the inside run as they come into the final turn. Coca-Cola, is he going to be able to make this stick? He just pushes Josh Martin out wide, not so wide that he's off the track. Martin here could enjoy the outside run down in towards turn 1. Eric Axelsen up ahead of him is in 3rd, and this the battle for 4th position past the grandstands. Still side by side, and if Martin can hang on, he does hang on. Martin gets that sweep, had a very good run out of Coca-Cola, but now was there a little tap there and drops back behind Adam Lyle. I'm not sure if there was a tiny little bit of contact between the pair of them, but Lyle is back into 4th.
He is there, and I'm very glad that we've got one final lap of this race. We only have a final lap of this race by mere seconds because Jack Smith just about crossed the line in order to do so. So we're going to see that battle between Adam Lyle and Josh Martin. Also the battle going on between Oliver Gibson and Jack Smith. This has been brewing for a little while now, and now or never really for Oliver Gibson to, in realistic terms, continue on this championship fight. He needs this race victory if at all possible. Has half a car length side by side for a past couple of corners, goes late on the brakes, tries to hang it around the outside. That doesn't quite work, but there is going to be a switchback opportunity here on the exit of the corner. Does he have more momentum? No, he doesn't. Well defended, well covered by Jack Smith there.
I echo your words there, very well covered by Jack Smith. That's why these 2 are ahead of the championship standings, but this race is not over just yet. It's Jack Smith still in front. Oliver Gibson is all over him. They can afford to battle because they've managed to build up. Whilst it's not an overly huge lead, it's enough of a lead that they can, having broken free, sort it all out without worrying about the others getting involved. And the others being Eric Axelsen, that you can see back in 3rd place. So Eric in 3rd, Adam Lyle still in 4th, Josh Martin in 5th. They've had a great race. Chris Blakey has got himself into a secure 6th position, coming under pressure from Daniel Heaps. But in the closing stages of the laps, as they go through the NGK chicane, head up towards Coca-Cola for the last time. Jack Smith looks like he's fended off his brother to lead out of the final turn. It's all about the run to the flag here in race 2 of round 8 of the VRRC BMW M3 Cup here at Nurburgring, and it's a win for Jack Smith. Oliver Gibson 2nd, Eric Axelsen completes the podium again from Josh Martin in 4th this time. Adam Lyle takes 5th from Chris Blakey, then Craig Curtis, and that was a little bit of a pity. for Craig Curtis, who drops down the order. So Scott Bugler 7th from Daniel Heaps, then it was Lee Pearcey. Thomas Potter wraps up the top 10 from Christian Gillian, Paul Laramie, Craig Curtis, Andy Carroll, Harry Allward, and Andy Dorman, Olivia Krasnowska, and John Jones. I think we lost John earlier on in the meeting, so Olivia Krasnowska in 17th will complete our runners as we watch Lee Pearcey in 9th place. And now we've got to do some quick maths and work out who's going to be on pole position for the feature race. But before we do that, we'll have a quick break and we'll catch up with the top 3 in a couple of minutes. We were just doing some work on the mathematics there, and we'll come to that in a minute because we've got the top 3 podium interviews to do. And I get the chance to talk to Eric Axel. So Eric, great to catch up with you again, and a sort of tough race at the beginning, but another lonely one for you in 3rd place in the middle to later stages. How are you?
Yeah, hello, Richard. Fine. Yeah, that was more of the same, but still not. Because yeah, that was quite hectic at the start.
What could you have done differently? And are you looking at a different? Obviously, it's a different strategy, isn't it, for the sprint race? But sorry, for the feature race. But sprint racing wise, having got those out of the way now, what would you have done differently?
Well, I would certainly have practiced more. That would be
okay.
That's the first thing I should have done. But other than that, I mean. Not much really. I was quite nice, I think, to Adam, let him have the inside, and I think Josh also at one point. But last race of the season, I didn't want to to make it end up in tears for all of us. So I would think I was quite nice, and also no chance of me winning the championship. I thought. Just let's have a fun, good race the last round.
You were nice, but I think the word we used was respectful, and you definitely were, and I think Adam probably was as well. We saw some good side-by-side stuff, and there was air between the cars most of the time, which was great to see. So always good to see you back on the podium, and we did miss you after Norisring. Was it the Zandvoort round that we missed you? You were away for work, I guess. For that, so always a shame to miss you. But does that have an impact on the championship? And obviously it does points wise, because that has to be your drop round. But do you get a little bit rusty if you use that term?
Yeah, a little bit maybe, because I think the 4th round was a Norisring, right? And that wasn't a great round. It could have been, but I messed up my pit stop.
Oh, right.
In the feature race, and that was that, I think. So that became my drop round up until then, and then I missed Zandvoort, and after that I saw that okay, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough to take back. So you kinda, I didn't practice as much for Red Bull Ring in this round. So you kinda realize that this is going to be tough if you want to be up there.
I can't remember. Eric, I can't remember if I've asked you this question before, but do you do real life racing to either cars or karts or anything?
No. Don't do anything really. I did karting when I was like up until I was like 15 years old or something, 17 years old. But that's about it really. And started with sim racing. Like I got a serious setup during COVID really, because I had nothing else to do.
That's a good way. It's good.
Yeah. But it was worth everything really, because I spent quite some time in it.
Do you get to do track days or anything like that?
Not really anything close to me. So this is pretty much my only racing fix I get. To be honest, watch racing sometimes in the summer, stuff like that. I've been looking to do like a course maybe this summer. I think it's called like a Formula Renault or something like that, at the Swedish track. I think it is Anderstorp.
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah. That should be good fun. Try some real race cars would be, that would be really fun.
Would you get the chance to come over and spectate in the UK? So it'd be lovely to get everybody together at some point and say hello to you for real. So do you ever get to the UK?
Yeah, I mean that would be great. I would really go to. I would like to go to Goodwood, the Festival of Speed at some point. That's like one of the things I really want to do. And obviously the culture you have around racing is like another thing that we have here in Sweden. So it would be a nice experience to go and I don't know, watch some British touring cars or stuff like that.
Eric, it's Rich. That's it. 2025 Goodwood Festival of Speed. You can stay with me in the RV, mate. You're coming.
There you go.
that's really good.
That's fantastic. I'm glad these chats sort that sort of thing out. Eric, well done on P3. Always lovely to chat to you, and thanks for racing with us. And very well done on third place. And we'll see what the last race brings.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Eric. And hopefully we get to actually meet in 2025. That would be absolutely brilliant. I did get to meet Oliver Gibson later in the season. This time, though, the interview is going to be with Reeve.
It will indeed. And unfortunately, Oliver, I can't promise you a stay in an RV at any point at the end of this interview, but it is good to chat with you nonetheless. Second place in the second race for this weekend. A repeat of your result from the first one. Nice consistent performance so far. Have you gained a bit more knowledge from race one? Are you enjoying it out there?
Yeah, I found that I need to check my audio settings before the race start, because we talk after the interview. We go back into the voice chat and we talk and stuff, and so I didn't think anything of it, and then everyone went quiet because obviously the race was about to start, and I heard no engine noise, and I was like,
oh
yeah, I don't know what's going on. So I did the start, and then it was only really till like the first straight after the first sector that I managed to get some audio back. So whole first sector no audio was not fun, but yeah, no, that's definitely better. Jack had some real issues, so sort of makes it less, I guess, impressive for myself. But yeah, I don't know. I made one big mistake actually. I touched the grass on one of the entries in the first sector and nearly went around, but I caught it somehow. So that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, it was a bit close towards the end. I wish I did a few things differently and maybe launched a few more dive bombs. But yeah, it is what it is.
I can hear Rich gritting his teeth at that last sentence there. But it just goes to show that even in sim racing, we might not have the mechanical unpredictability, but we still do have technical issues like the steering wheel issues or audio issues. I mean, audio issues are for those of you watching along at home and maybe not all that involved in sim racing. First of all, do get involved, but that can be quite a race-ending ordeal, can't it? Because you completely rely on the audio to know when you need to upshift, and that is so important in the car. So well done for driving around that.
Thank you. Yeah, the start as well, because the start in this car is obviously, I mean in most cars it's clutch, but it's quite rare I think in this sim. So you have to really listen so your revs don't drop too low, and and obviously that was quite tricky with the audio, so a bit of muscle memory came in, and I think I shifted too early as well on one of the starts because I was fiddling around with the audio, and then I see Eric's flying past us. Oh, I must have missed something, so I'm going to double check, and it is on, so we're fine.
Yeah, please do double check. You can blame us for racing. Put that on the commentators. You know, it's just chatting to us that caused that. At least if you've got some solace in the fact that this car does have an insanely high red line, so at least you've got a little while to think about upshifting. So just a quick look onto the next race. Obviously we've got the feature race coming up next, and this will be realistically your last chance to kind of hold on to the championship at this point. Mathematically, it's still, I believe, still possible. Very quick provisional napkin maths there. Always like to caveat it with that, but it must be said it has been a really strong performance all season for Jack. You have put on a mighty fight as well. So what are your thoughts about the championship at this point before we head to the feature race?
Well, I don't know. I didn't even think it was still on, so that's news to me. But
I think it may be over just about. Either way, it's very close. As I said, provisional maths.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think Jack's going to win it either way. He's definitely been stronger throughout the series, and especially in this round as well. So yeah, I'll just go out there. I think we have worked together quite well in the last 2 rounds, so maybe we'll do a bit of that again. But yeah, just going to pick my way through, and I try and not mess up the pit stops because that's been a key player for me. So fingers crossed that goes well, and then yeah, just see where we end up. About 10 minutes left. It's usually a good indicator.
Good stuff. Well, all the best for the feature race coming up. Sorry, it's great to chat, but I am very conscious of time. We need to have a quick chat with Jack Smith before we get underway for our final race. So thank you and congratulations, Oliver, on P2 in race 2.
Thank you, Ree. Well done, Oliver, and well done to Jack Smith. 2 out of 2. You going to make it a hat trick?
We'll try my best. Hopefully this time I can keep my wheel intact, and being able to change gear is always nice. So yeah, we'll give that a go. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to keep my nose clean in this one. It's gonna be one of them, I think.
So you've probably worked the points out and we haven't, but I reckon you're there at the moment.
I've not really had the time to. I've been
spinning
my wheels, so I've not even had a chance to even think about points. So I'm just gonna have to drive as well as I can.
I've not worked it out, but like the update on the website basically shows 369 against 348, which is 21 points, and there's only 17 on the table on there now. So, you would never give it up anyway. So you got a race, and you're going off towards the back of the grid on the medium tyre. We've got the likes of Thomas and Olivia, as they did last time, on the soft tyres, and that could work for them like it did last time.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, we'll see how the strategies work out. I know what I'm going to be doing, so yeah, just got to stick to that, and yeah, see where we end up towards the end of it. I'd just like to point out, actually, I don't think Oliver gives himself enough credit, really. He's done so well this season, and yeah, I mean, that having an audio issue is even worse for him because of the keyboard he's got a trackpad, he's got an alt tab out, he's going to go to his audio settings, turn that all while driving at the same time. So that's ridiculous. Way easier than what I had. I just had to push the steering wheel, press the gear shift a few times. So yeah, I think big props to Ollie there. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a busy old thing to do, isn't it? You've got enough to do without worrying about all that. And you had your issues as well, and managed to overcome them. I'm going to say well done, Jack. It's only got 30 seconds to go before the race, so good luck for the final race. Well done, and we'll talk to you again a little bit later on. Thanks, Jack Smith there, double race winner. What can he do in the reverse grid race? He is starting off the back. We've got Thomas Potter and Olivia Krzyżanowska starting on the front row. They're both on the soft tyre. Then we've got Harry Ormer on softs as well. Medium is Paul Laramie. Christian Gillian on medium. Craig Curtis on soft. And Dorman is on medium. Andy Carroll next to him is on soft. The two Andys wouldn't be. They've been glued together all the way through this one. The race, though, is underway. It's a great start from Thomas Potter, who wants to make it a double here in the feature races. This one is a half-hour race. Olivia Krzyżanowska gets off the line well and into P2. Those two on the soft tyres. You can see Harry Ormer looking around the outside, but it's Paul Laramie from fourth who comes up into third place and is going to try and challenge Olivia Krzyżanowska. Olivia in the black, orange and yellow car, but it's Thomas Potter that leads him around the arena first off with Olivia in P2. We've also got Craig Curtis who's come up into fourth place from 5th, and I think behind, everybody has behaved themselves through turn 1. Might be a little bit early to say that. The curse of the commentator can sometimes come into play, but Reeve Taylor, all looks good at the moment.
Yep, a fantastic start to this race for Thomas Potter, actually giving me a little bit of Schön gesehen, which is the German for déjà vu, because, of course, last time out at Red Bull Ring, it was a great start to the feature race for Thomas Potter, and he had that pace, had the ability to keep control of the race afterwards, so let's see if he can replicate that. Olivia has been released from Paul Laramie ever so slightly, so she might be a thorn in his side as we see Paul Laramie and Craig Curtis going side by side. Craig Curtis taking the corner by the looks of things there, and there he goes up through late on the brakes. Nice move. Let's have a look at Paul Laramie then, tries to pull back from Craig Curtis. This is, as I say, an ideal start really for Thomas Potter.
Yeah, I was just going to start to say it would be really good to see Craig Curtis on the podium in his second race, but then second event of the year. And then I was thinking actually it'd be good to see Paul Laramie on the podium. It'd be great to see Olivia Krishnovska on the podium and Thomas Potter again. In fact, basically I want everybody on the podium.
Yeah, can you imagine how long the driving should be then as well?
But I actually don't have any favourites out of this, but I do love it when we get a new name up there, and that's what this is all about. So, Thomas Potter though, trying to do what he did last time out. Superb race for him at Red Bull Ring last time around. Olivia Krishnovska still in second position. Olivia's going to get that P2 at the end of lap number 1. Superb drive again from the young Scot, who is leading Craig Curtis. He's got a fair bit of experience in this type of racing. He's in P3 and he's going to tear up now. He's going to have a look. The inside run going down into turn 1, so we're past the pit lane here, but that was a very good opening lap for Olivia Krishnovska. You know, standing up to the pressure, which undoubtedly you would feel as a new driver in the championship. And again, you know, fending off Paul Laramie there. That was good stuff from Olivia. Stays in a podium position for now on the soft tyre. Paul Laramie is on the medium tyre, so he's going to try and get the most out of that and stay up with the front group. Craig Curtis on soft, which is perhaps one reason why Craig managed to get past him. Still Thomas Potter up front and Craig Curtis busy trying to close him down. A bit further back, Jack Smith in 17th at the moment, and Oliver Gibson up into 12th, chasing Daniel Heath, with one of our two championship protagonists.
Yeah, it was a great run for Olivia there. We actually saw we're on board with Paul Laramie, and it's one of those camera angles. It's great. This track's great for any camera angle, really. But that run down into turn 1 when someone is closing off the inside from the outside of the corner, while someone is going late on the brakes, it just makes you wince sometimes, doesn't it? When you think, oh, the closing speeds here are phenomenal. That they did make it through, of course, though. Very experienced drivers knowing exactly what their opponents are doing. Jack Smith up into P13 at the moment. It's not been the start I suspect that he would have wanted in comparison to his rival. Obviously, I spent probably a little bit too long in my maths break on Google Translate, and it didn't quite get a definitive answer on whether or not the championship was decided. We're thinking it pretty much is now.
You blew that. I thought I was a really student of German, and you've just given the game away.
Absolutely not. No, I did it for GCSE, but it's long forgotten. It doesn't actually translate directly, as already seen, so that's very German.
That's very typically, and I'm not being stereotypical about German. Like German, I love the German because the literal nature of things. The Danes are fairly well like that as well. But the Danes for television is far sight, seeing things far away. But when I can have a Danish round, and I can show off about Danish, can't
I? We've accidentally fallen into linguistics, but there's a great battle going out on track, and also, as I was saying, Jack Smith, you'd rather get the feeling that he's quite thankful that the championship is over, because if it was just a little bit closer between the two, Oliver Gibson, you'd have to say, would be looking rather good at the moment. Unfortunately, it doesn't look to be the case. Instead, let's have a look at the battle going on here for P3. Olivia putting on a really strong showing. We didn't quite get a glimpse of it in Austria after an unfortunate early race incident in the feature race, but now we're getting to see that shine through. Something we saw a lot in the Cup actually as well, especially as the season progressed. Olivia was having a really good go of things in the reverse grid race, so hopefully we get to see this pay off here as we see Oliver Gibson in the midst of battle here. It looked like he was on a really good bit of momentum, was Oliver Gibson, was starting to break away from Jack Smith, but now there's only a few seconds covering them because he's tumbled back a little bit in the mid-pack, has Oliver Gibson.
it's that mid-pack effect, isn't it, which can come into play. Daniel Heap's about to try and get a position back off him. Daniel in the traditional BMW livery there, pops up the inside. I'm guessing Oliver won't be too concerned. It is just slugs off now, isn't it? The elbows out and all the other cliches that we can think of in terms of just enjoying the last race of the season. Thomas Potter, though, is 9/10 clear of Craig Curtis at the moment, with Olivia still in third place, and Daniel Heaps busy trying to close down on it's Andy Carroll, isn't it, immediately in front of him, with Lee Piercy in the mix as well in 8th place. Christian Gillian up ahead of them as we now ride with Oliver Gibson trying to get the position back here. He's got a good run and will draw level. He's going to get his nose in front. He's got the line, had the line for the next corner, but not quite enough momentum to look up the inside. He'll be looking back just a little bit as well at Chris Blakey. Then we've got Jack Smith a couple of cars behind, and Jack is about to get his brother inside. Is that our first pit stopper as well coming in?
That is indeed, yes. That is Lee Piercy jumping into the pits. Let's see what time he comes out, and it's going to be very interesting. Are we going to see a hard runner here potentially? But this phase of the race, the medium lasting 23 minutes will be particularly impressive.
Well, Lee came out on the medium tyre, so I'm guessing he's going to change over onto the soft. So it was a medium starter was Lee, so maybe getting that tyre off, and maybe his driving style smooth enough to make that soft tyre last to the end of the race as we pick up with Craig Curtis here, trying to close down on Thomas Potter. The gap 1.1 seconds, so Potter has managed to get a little bit further ahead of Craig Curtis, both of those on the soft tyre. Oliver Gibson still running well. Meanwhile, it's Oliver with Daniel Heaps, who's got back in front of him at the moment. So Daniel Heaps is putting on a really good show here as well. And Daniel, can't remember what he started on. Let's go back to the timing screen. Daniel on the, where is he? There he is, soft tyre as well. So soft versus medium here, and Oliver Gibson getting a handful there.
Yeah, it was a great run through the Dunlop curve there for Oliver Gibson. Tried to have a look around the outside, just carried more momentum by going in through the outside of the corner there. Great exit as well, just unfortunately not quite enough to make the move stick just yet. Might it be though, as he closes in ever so slightly? It is from bumper to rear bumper, dives the car across the circuit to try and get that front axle to respond, and stays behind for now.
He does, great racing going on there. Meanwhile, the gap has come down at the front, so Craig Curtis closing in on Thomas Potter at the moment for the lead. Paul Laramie running in a good strong third position. Olivia's still in sixth, so not a couple of positions with the Oscar, but really impressive opening couple of laps from there. That's what it's about, building up your confidence. Starting off the front, as you learn, you get more confidence, you get more practice on the tracks, and more practice racing against the other drivers, and positions and lap times will improve. There is Laramie though in third place at the moment. Josh Martin now up to fourth. Josh has been very consistent. He was a driver of the round last week at Red Bull Ring, and he's been very consistent here as well. He's been off the podium, but not far away from that podium. Behind him is Adam Lyle, who was our original pick for driver of the day, but due to the officiating afterwards, had that sadly denied him, but he's been an entertaining driver as well. So we could be, well, we are indeed looking at the whole field in terms of driver of the race, and once we get past the halfway in this one, I'll have to start giving that some more thought. As now, what you said about BMWs and indicators, Paul's got his on.
I know, yeah, it's always good to check their work every now and again. I do that occasionally in my own, and I think they work. As we see there, running in P4 at the moment is Josh Martin. Now pace 2 minute 10.0. The pace in this feature race seems to be slightly off. Now that is obviously because we got our mid-pack running on the medium tyre there. I thought the medium, once it had lit up, would be looking pretty good, but I do believe it's a fairly big delta, especially at tracks like this, where we've got some really high energy, high speed corners which demand a lot of the tyres. There isn't too much in terms of downforce on these cars. They're not the widest tyres in the world, so the compound is really being asked a lot of.
It is very much indeed. Craig Curtis now the leader from Thomas Potter. We're looking at Paul Laramie in third place. Now we're looking at the race leader. So Craig Curtis through with 4 laps completed. Thomas Potter is in P2. So Thomas, at the moment, both of these guys have got to change at some point onto the medium tyre, and Craig's got the upper hand, so Thomas is going to be a wee bit frustrated about that, but frustration aside, we'll be thoroughly delighted with the win that he took last time out. Now we're getting more stoppers coming in, and it's Paul Araby from third position that will come in. So Paul Araby off the medium tyre will go on to the softs. It'll be interesting to see where he is once everything's settled out. We've got a good few more minutes to go before that picture is settled, and I think the same with this one for position, which is the battle for now third position. Adam Lyle through on the inside of Josh Martin, so Adam Lyle again has got some pace around here. It's perhaps a little bit surprising that we haven't had the podium interview with him yet. Adam qualified 5th, he was up there early doors in qualifying and then dropped back to 5th position with Eric Axelson, and it was Chris Blakey, wasn't it, who usurped him in qualifying and knocked him back into 5th place. But he was consistent in qualifying, he's been consistent in the races as well. They're looking pretty handy on the 3rd place at the moment, Adam Lyle, and on the medium tyre. So Adam Lyle being the top medium runner at the moment, Josh Martin 2nd on the mediums, and engaged in battle as we head back to Jack Smith, who's come through up into 10th place, chasing Chris Blakey, who in turn is after Jack's brother Oliver Gibson, and Daniel Heaps still at the top of this one as well. Daniel will go on the soft tyre in the early stages of this feature race.
Yeah, these soft runners, I've been going for a decent distance. I'd suspect the final soft compound tyre runners to be thinking about swapping over at this point. That running for the whole 15 minutes didn't seem ideal in sprint races, so around that 12-minute mark should give just enough life for the mediums to be happy, but also still using some decent pace, at least on the softs. By the time they hit the 15-minute mark, they're probably starting to lose a little bit too much pace and probably getting a bit too late. But then again, as I've shown in the past, my strategy calls often not the best, so we'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Oliver Gibson side by side with Daniel Heaps there in the M livery car. This time it's going to be Oliver Gibson with the inside line. In fact, no, he doesn't even need to think about the inside line. He gets moved on the braking, heading up towards the corner. I don't even think he was on the braking there, just more momentum, running uphill, nice and easy, going for Oliver Gibson, now running in P7. It has been a great drive up through the field for Oliver Gibson. It must be said for Jack Smith as well. It was looking a little bit tentative at the very early stages, but it seems to have been clawed back there. Let's go on board with Andy Carroll running in P4. Haven't seen too much of Andy from this race weekend so far.
No, we haven't, but this again, one of the great things about reverse grid racing and the feature is where you get the pit stop visits and do get the opportunity to talk about drivers that maybe we haven't seen over the course of the day so far. And Andy Carroll, one of those drivers who is in 4th place. Livia Krasnowska, as a result of various pit stops, is back up into 5th place. Oliver Gibson now in 6th, Daniel Heaps in 7th. That was a very interesting run between Gibson and Heaps. Many corners side by side, lots of respect given, room given to each other on track, and it plays out very nicely indeed. And it's about to play out again because Daniel Heaps isn't finished and he's trying for that outside run, which converts the inside for the next corner. Oliver Gibson just got his nose in front at the moment. We'll try and hang on to the line, which will convert to the inside for the next corner as well. Jack Smith is coming up to play as well. A little bit of a touch there. That perhaps is inevitable in this type of racing. Daniel Heaps, though, is not to be busy in this. Heaps fighting back, and remember, it's got the softer tyre on, but even so, it's levelled things up between those two. It's been a fascinating battle to watch. We ride on board with Daniel Heaps. In the mirrors, we can see Jack Smith, and up ahead, Oliver Gibson. So Gibson will, at the moment, be in a position to pull a couple of points back on his brother, but Jack Smith, the provisional titleist here, as Oliver Gibson struggles into the corner, loses momentum, but Daniel Heaps was that a follow-up from that. Daniel Heaps now passed by Jack Smith.
Yeah, Daniel Heaps very late on the brakes, and I think those soft tyres that he's been running since the start of this race, just about giving up now, really not wanting to derate the car at all. Very well avoided by both drivers, it must be said, although I suspect the other participant would have been more of a passenger really if that was to be a collision. Jack Smith now darting into the pits. Those medium tyres, he's decided, have had the course. Daniel Heaps doing the same with his softs as well. Oliver Gibson pushing on a little bit further into the race with his mediums, and I think if I was to put my strategy hat on, I think that would be the call that I would make. A lap or two more on the mediums is going to give you a low fuel load and slightly less time to go on the softs.
That's good sound thinking, I think, there from Reeve Taylor. It's going to be fascinating to see who is where after the stops, but at the moment, out of the drivers who have, a few drivers, I say few, probably about a third of the field have done stops. Josh Martin is the top driver of the stoppers so far, and Josh is, or having said that, it's all beginning to change because we've got other drivers in the pits, but before they came in, it was Josh Martin, the leader of that group, as it were, as Jack Smith continues on his way. Thomas Potter now the race leader, yet to stop. Adam Lyle yet to stop is P2. Andy Carroll is third from Oliver Gibson now, also who needs to stop, with Harry Ormerod in fifth. Nice to get Harry up into the top six as well. So the Jägermeister livery is in fifth. So
Great, yep, sorry, I'll let you carry on with that.
No, he's now the top stopper, isn't he?
Yes, that was exactly my point as well, as we've just been reliably informed by Rich there. Done quite well on the not talking over each other front so far. Let's I'll try not to ruin it for us and then in the final round of the season.
Well, it's all right. Well, these things happen, don't they? When you get some great racing, that's just part and parcel of it. So, Craig Curtis is sixth at the moment. Josh Martin is the next stopper behind him, and if we look at the shots, we can see that Josh is a wee way back. So Josh has got some work to do. Whether he's got the pace, he's been, I think, maybe a little bit quicker over the course of this meeting so far. So we might expect Josh to close down on him, but of course it's where Messerschmitt and Gibson are after their stops as well, which is going to come into play.
Yeah, as we have Thomas Potter and Lyle in the pits now. Thomas has done very well to make those softs last as long as he did. This again echoes a strategy he deployed in the Red Bull Ring, where he went quite long on that first set of tyres. What that does afford him is the ability to, with the remaining 12 minutes, it doesn't really matter what tyre compound he's running, he can just go pretty much hell for leather really and push the car on till the very end. He at least knows where he stands and knows he has the tyre life to push on, set those cutting laps in, and hopefully, for his sake, win any battles that he might find himself involved in, because he has the upper hand in terms of grip.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he had clear track, didn't he, for the majority of it before Craig Curtis started to get involved. And well, here we are looking at Craig at the moment, running in P4. Andy Carroll leading out from Harry Ormerod up into P2. And there is Thomas Potter. So, Thomas, we've had quite a few different race winners over the course of the series. And I know we would have been delighted to have got that one. Hopefully, I don't know if we're going to see Big Sister come back into it as well. Catherine Potter, who's raced with us in the past. It'd be lovely to see Thomas and Catherine to get to racing together again, hopefully for the championship starting in January. Fingers crossed that that can be sorted out. Meanwhile, we pick up with Andy Carroll, who is our race leader, yet to stop, as is Harry Ormerod in P2. But Andy Carroll, I think, is going to be one of the last of the stoppers, probably due to come in and go over onto the medium tyre at the end of this lap, I would guess.
Yeah, that would be a safe assumption, although soft could work at this phase of the race as well. His pace seems decent, it must be said. 208.2, best being a 207.7, so perhaps a small drop, but not much at all really for Andy Carroll. Seems to be whispered those tyres quite nicely. Josh Martin, meanwhile, setting purple sectors. He has made a stop, is on the soft compound of tyre hardness. He's got 2 purple sectors under his belt so far on this lap. Is very much rivaling the likes of Scott Bugner behind him, and also Adam Lyle up in front in terms of pace. Adam Lyle is not quite up in terms of pace at the moment. It has a bit too much together for Josh Martin, and that could have been so much worse. This is a bit of a race, and unfortunately he does find a bit of a dip in the grass there. That does spoil his race in the end, but at least it wasn't a complete stop to zero courtesy of a tyre wall through the chicane.
Yeah, and that is a shame, because I was really enjoying that battle between the pair of them up to that point. But
that was going to be a blistering lap as well. Sorry.
It was. That's probably why he went off. Too
Useful
fast.
insight. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what a shame. Adam Lyle though, he's P4 at the moment. Harry Ormerod going as the race leader. So Harry getting his moment of glory at the top of the stack. and he will have to change onto the medium tyre. Thomas Potter is actually showing us the top stopper at the moment, so Thomas has again used the pit stops to very good effect by the look of it, or the strategy, starting off the front on the good tyre front kick, and Craig Curtis, Adam Lyle, all there. Scotland has made up ground as well after the pit stops. Eric Axelson in 6th, so they had to work their way through from the back of the field, but they have done so well. Here though is Harry Ormerod, our race leader, who must be due to pits as well, but great to see Harry, and nice to have a little bit of focus on him as our race leader in the Jägermeister livery.
Yeah, it is a fantastic livery. That I was wondering about the combination of Jägermeister and Warsteiner before. That was occupying my mind. It's probably one to avoid really, but yeah, great looking car there, leading this race at the moment. Still yet to pit, as we say, and with only 8 minutes to go, do you think he's forgotten about the pit stop and he's just enjoying the race out there?
Enjoying being out front and getting a little bit of a attack. Are you going to go and try that, by the way? You googled the linguistics, so are you going to try the Jägermeister and the Hofmeister?
Oh, see, if there was a round 9, that would have been important research. Although there is a Hofmeister on screen, that is for the nerds out there. That is the name of the kink in the rear window of an old BMW. There you go. Everyone's just fallen asleep. But Harry Ormerod, jumps into the pit lane now, as we now see Thomas Potter retake the lead of this race. His strategy then, certainly bold, but once again, seems to work out for him. That medium tyre will have plenty of life left in it within the final few minutes of this race. He does have some pressure. Craig Curtis on a bit of a charge at the moment, a couple of tenths faster per lap with the soft tyre. We might see him drop off though late on. And this race, after all the pit stops have been completed, very much reignited now, and now it's just an out-and-out battle until the end.
It is Craig Curtis, as you mentioned, the lead softie at the moment from Adam Lyle, Scott Rigner on soft. Andy Carroll is second in the mediums, he's down in 8th place. So we are going to watch Thomas Potter wrestle now with the medium tyre. Now remember, when the positions were, or when the tyre situation was reversed at the start of the race, we did see Craig Curtis make his way through and get into the lead ahead of Thomas Potter. And now we've got, this is what reverse grid racing and pit stops is all about. The top 3 all in shot together, and it is those 3 clear at the moment. Scott Booker in 4th, trying to get back in touch with them. And don't discount him or Eric Axelson in 5th place, but it's all about the top 3. The leader on the medium tyre, the 2 chasers on the soft. In theory, you would think now are going to have the better run in the remaining 6 minutes of the race. But this could still go any way of these 3, or maybe the other 3 drivers behind as well.
Yes, it could, absolutely. It stayed very close despite the large variety of strategies that we have available within this race, which is great to see. It's great to see all those strategies actually working out as well. There's no one that you can really pinpoint as saying, look, that hasn't worked and that's ruined your race. The drivers are free to kind of come up with their own pathways to navigating this race, which is great to see. Jack Smith, of course, we saw climbing his way through the order. I know we're on board with Craig at the moment. Big shout out to him because his pace is looking rather strong at the moment. 206.8 at the moment. He currently holds his fastest lap of this race, and there's only one position behind his rival Oliver Gibson, as he has settled the championship fight for the time being, but at least it was a great fight nonetheless. Craig Curtis then heading back onto the start-finish straight. Potentially a bit of pressure coming in the form of Adam Lyle in just a moment. Adam had a great end to the previous lap, and you'd have to say Adam's probably a bit closer to Craig than Craig is to Thomas out in front. Thomas is going to have that pressure of leading the race, but at least knows that perhaps Craig is going to be looking in his rearview mirror a lot on this lap.
Yeah, that's a good observation, isn't it? These 2 could engage, might slow each other up, might negate some of the potential extra speed from the soft tyre if 2nd and 3rd engage. So I'm wondering whether Adam Lyle might just decide to watch and see what happens at the moment. Where he'll want to be, of course, is right with Craig Curtis if he can get past Thomas Potter. We know that Thomas is a very good defender. We saw that, was it Zandvoort or Norisring? I can't remember which round it was, where Thomas did some masterly defensive driving from Jack Smith of all people and held on 4th position at that time. In actual fact now it looks to be like Adam Lyle is closest, so I'm wondering whether Adam is going to battle for 2nd and then have a go at Thomas Potter as well. We've still got 4 minutes 50 on the clock here. The gap has come down to Thomas Potter out front. Thomas will be very well aware that these 2 experienced drivers are right behind him. He hasn't had too much racing with Craig Curtis in this campaign, Craig only having done the one round with best result of 9th place in the feature race at Hockenheim. And this is the view from the P2 driver looking back at Adam Lyle, who has been fast and consistent and entertaining over the course of the evening with us here at Nurburgring as well. And I might be wrong, but I get the info. I was going to say he's sitting back, but now he's going for second position. Adam Lyle is not sitting back. He's getting stuck in, as he has done all so far through the evening. And he's having looked that there's not room because Craig Curtis is busy trying to take the battle to Thomas Potter, but it's very evident that the third place man is keeping him pretty honest at the moment and maybe just scuppering any real attempts at going for the lead because he's having to defend that P2 as well, exactly as you called, Bree.
Yeah, this is where we really wish we were inside the car at this point to know exactly how those tyres were feeling, because Thomas Potter, harder compounder tyre, but might have more life in it. Craig Curtis could be lighting those softs up for one last charge, or they could be beginning to drop off at this point. Either way, Adam Lyle's here to confuse things even further as Thomas goes for a defensive line there, takes that inside line away from Craig Curtis, slowing him down potentially in the process, though he goes wide out on exit. That gives him the second corner coming up next. Can compromise the score a little bit in order to get a better run in to the end of the start of lap corner complex here, as we've now got Thomas Potter defending on two fronts really. Adam Lyle up the inside, goes past Craig Curtis there, saw a gap, seized upon it very quickly indeed, back onto the throttle, flash of the hazards to say thank you, just to put the icing on the cake there. It's Adam Lyle up into second, and now it's Adam's chance to try and fight for the lead of this race.
I'm not sure Craig Curtis gave anything there to Adam Lyle, who got up into P2, because Craig is trying to fight back. If this squabble continues, it's going to bring that gaggle of cars into the mix as well, but I think this is going to be potentially settled a little bit earlier because Adam Lyle's got his nose in front. Is he going to be able to hang on to it? Thomas Potter, as we said, a notoriously difficult driver to overtake. A little bit of a tap onto the side of Adam Lyle. Craig Curtis coming up into the mix as well. Curtis looking to get back into second position. Potter continues to hold the lead. It's Lyle still in second, gets the better of that skirmish, gets a little bit of ground over Craig Curtis, who seems to have lost out there in that little bit of tagging that went on. And this is great news for Adam Lyle, who's got breathing space now over the third place man. He can focus on going for the lead on Thomas Potter, who is here. He can take whatever attacking line he wants here, as long as Potter's not there in front of him. And he's going to try and tease his way through on the inside run here. They're side by side for the lead. There's a little bit of rubbing and contact. Lyle backs out of it. He's got to have another go. This could bring the third place car into it as well. Scott Butler closing in for fourth. Oliver Gibson is next up from Eric Axelson. But we ride on board with the second place man, Adam Lyle. The closing stages of the 2024 Virtual Reality Racing Club season. It's coming to a boil, coming to the boil here, and it's Lyle all over the back of Thomas Potter. Let's have a look, Reed, as he runs down the straight. What's he going to do?
Adam Lyle with some great speed there on the exit of the final corner. These two not giving each other any more room than they absolutely need to. This is the final battle for the lead for the final time in this season. What a good one. Down the inside there, late on the brakes. It's Adam Lyle with that momentum from the start of the start-finish straight there. Takes the lead of this race. But the question is, as we well know, the switchback is so easy to perform at the start of the lap. Will he be able to keep Thomas Potter at bay for the time being? You do get the feeling that perhaps it's all getting a little bit frenetic now at the front end of the field, and now these drivers need to try and just make sure they bring the cars home at this point. But what a move there from Adam Lyle. That could have happened at any point on the previous lap, but great defensive driving from Thomas Potter as well. P2 for the time being. Let's see if there's anything left in the tank for the final part of this race.
Potter has absolutely mastered the strategy coming off the front of these races, and it was P1 last time, looking like a potential P2 here. Craig Curtis couldn't get past him because he had Adam Lyle all over his rear end. We've got a great battle on as well between Scott Bugner and Oliver Gibson. Oliver wants to try and get up towards the podium. There is Scott Bugner in the 7. Runs a little bit wide there. This is going to allow the man second in the championship to try and draw level, but Bugner knows he's got the line into the next corner, and Gibson will have to try and work out a different way. Jack Smith 2 or 3 car lengths down behind there. Meanwhile, back to the leaders very briefly. It's Adam Lyle still there. Thomas Potter in P2. He's got Craig Curtis all over the back of him as well. The clock has run down. This is the final lap. Are we going to see another podium from Thomas Potter? It's looking as if we may well do that. The question is whether we'll see Craig Curtis up in second.
Yeah, that is a very good question indeed. Also, shout out to that battle going on just behind it as well. Scott Bugner versus Oliver Gibson, absolutely side by side here as we head up through the chicane time. Adam Lyle breaking away ever so slightly now.
Here we come into the last corner. Sorry to cut across you there, Reeve, but it's going to be a win for Adam Lyle. Adam Lyle's going to grab the last race win here in our 2024 series. Congratulations, Adam, from Thomas Potter, another podium. Craig Curtis is back on the podium on his return to VRRC racing. Scott Budner in fourth, second in the championship is confirmed for Oliver Gibson, and our champion is Jack Smith, who has 2 wins and a 6th position today. Congratulations to Jack Smith. Eric Axelson 7th from Chris Blakey, then Josh Martin. It was Adam Carroll next from Daniel Heaps 11th, Christian Gillian in 12th place from Lee Piercy, Harry Ormer and Paul Laramie. Lima Krasnowska is in 16th position and wrapping up our finishes. But I'll tell you what, we've got to congratulate everybody. There's some terrific racing, and we'll have a word with our podium finishers and our new champion after this break. So welcome back to our winners podium, and kicking off the honours in terms of the interviews, let's go over to Reeve.
Thank you very much, Richard. And for the first time this season, I have the chance to chat with Craig Curtis on your return. Congratulations, Craig, for the final time out this year. You've backed yourself a podium at the Nurburgring GP. You must be pleased with that one.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Happy with the podium at the last race of the year, weirdly. But yeah, it's been. I said to Rich earlier this evening, I've been gutted I've not been able to make most Wednesday nights. I think I've just done one round at Hockenheim, round 2, I think it was. So, and these cars are mega fun to drive. So I was a bit disappointed not to do the championship. But yeah, obviously able to make the last round, a little guest appearance, and get on the podium in the feature race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame we didn't see more of you, because that was some brilliant racing, especially in that feature race there that we saw. Talk us through some of your favourite moments there.
Yeah, well, started P6, I think it was. I'm not sure how the reverse grids have worked out, but race 1 and 2, I had sort of not nightmares, but just up in the pack and jostling back and forth, so you do lose a bit of time. But yeah, so it was a lot higher up the grid for the race 3, and yeah, managed to get a really good start, and managed to get behind Mr. Potter, and I got by him just before the pit stops. I think I took on too much fuel, which was annoying, so I was a little bit slower. And as I came, I think as the teapot came out of the pits, he was just ahead of me again, so I thought I'll have to hunt him down again. But Adam breathing down my neck as well. But it was good racing between all three of us, in all fairness, and massive respect to them.
Yeah, those pit stops can be difficult to manage. From the outside, it might just look something as simple as, oh, you know, it's all sim racing. You just got to drive the car into the pits, sit for a bit, and then drive straight out. But obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it. There's the pressure of it as well, isn't it? It can be very intense, because you've basically got to be your pit manager, haven't you?
More or less, yeah. Like I said, I've only done one round of this new format as well, so it's a lot to get used to, the 2 sprints and then the half-an-hour race with the pit stop. So it's obviously we've done the endurance races this year as well, but it's a lot easier to work out the fuel and tires, etc. So it's yeah, been a learning evening. So if we manage to get this format for next year, then I'll learn a lot more.
Of course, next season we are going to be changing, well, not changing format, but changing cars ever so slightly. We go from rear-wheel drive back to front-wheel drive for TCRs. Will we be hopefully seeing a bit more of you in the next season?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I love the front
Fantastic.
wheel drives anyway. So, yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a good year all round racing with these guys, week in, week out, and learn, always learn when it comes to racing. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun and nice ways to spend Wednesday evenings.
Yeah, it certainly is great to watch it happen as well. Just like to congratulate once again for a podium in this race, and look forward to seeing more of you in the future. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Reeve. Have a nice Christmas.
Thanks very much, Reeve. Well done, Craig. Great to see you back on the podium. And 2 feature race podiums on the bounce for Thomas Potter. Thomas, you seem to have nailed that that strategy for starting off the front. That worked well, didn't it? Well done.
Yeah, thanks. Well, to be fair, for the strategy event, it was basically work with Craig. I sent him a message before race. Well, actually, he sent it. 1, 2, here we go. So I said, game on, we'll work together. Unfortunately, it was a 2-3, but we'll still take it by maybe like 10th and 11th in race 2 and 3. But yeah.
And I know that one of the problems you had earlier on in the season was you were saying that you're struggling with the starts, but no problems with starts for you in the last 2 feature races. Red Bull Ring and here at Nurburgring, you've got off the line very cleanly. Is there a bit more to come? Are you still a little bit nervous about the starts, or are you happy with all that?
For the start, I'm pretty happy now. Unfortunately, it's the last race of the season to get the start nailed, but worked out well for me on the last 2 feature races. Managed to get put 2 podiums now in them. But yeah, figured out. I think I've nailed the starts now.
It's got to be nerve-wracking. I'll say it's got to be, but I'll ask you, how nerve-wracking is it with drivers like Craig and Adam, behind you and catching you, because you were on the harder tyre, which was obviously not necessarily going to be as quick over the last few laps. How did you feel?
Well, to be honest, I know Craig was faster, but I definitely knew Adam was like way faster because he's throughout this whole championship he's been faster than me, and he's just seems to be rapid at the Nurburgring. So I was more scared when I saw Adam overtake Craig, because I was hoping Craig could defend him a bit. But Craig was also I know he can get past people quite easily, even if a defender. So I was proud of myself to defend him, but I knew Adam was probably going to get past in the end anyway.
A podium in this company is good, isn't it? A terrific win last week. And did you get much feedback from last week as well? Many people watching and so on.
Well, yeah, I got quite a lot from that one, which also I got more feedback on how to get a better strategy, which I think worked here well as well. This one I wasn't even as fast as I was at the Red Bull Ring, but still managed to work it out, and only losing the place to Adam, which is probably more than likely going to happen because he's quite fast around here.
Talking to youngsters like yourselves, I mean, obviously, racing is your life. It's going to be your life as well. You've made no secret of the fact that you want to be a professional driver. You're going to be capable of doing that. What does a break, such as it's called, look like for you? Because we finished this campaign now. What's next up for you? How do you feel the time before we start racing again?
Well, practice. I'm gonna do a bit of iRacing as well, and then I've also still got one more round in my set of course championship I'm doing. So I'm gonna be trying to get. Well, I've got loads of time to do that now, so I'm gonna try and get it down for that one, and hopefully get top 5 in that one. As I'm in a slightly slower car, but I'm still gonna hope to be a best of the rest, as me and Joel say.
That's good. And are you coming back to join us at VRRC next year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the best championship I've ever raced in, competitive wherever you are in the field, and as you can see with this reverse grid, it makes it very easy for some of the other drivers to get up there as well.
Nice one, Thomas. Well, congratulations. Always been a pleasure to see you, watch you, and all the other guys racing as well. So well done. Have a good break, and we look forward to seeing you next term. Thomas Potter, well done on P2. Let's hand you over to Reeve for our winners interview.
Thank you very much, Richard. And now a chance to hear from Adam, Thomas's rival in that final race. Congratulations, Adam. You take our final race victory of the season. You must be happy with that one.
Oh, absolutely buzzing. I'm still shaking from it now. When I got squeezed, was it second to last lap or last lap by Thomas? and I was 2 wheels in the gravel. I thought, that's it, gone. But I still managed to keep the drive through it, kept my foot planted, stayed on it just to make it that P1 available still.
Yeah, you really were absolutely going for it there. We saw when you two were getting very close out on track there, you two just looked like you knew perfectly how big the car was and nothing much more. Was it kind of a case of, we saw some great moves as well, Dunlop, when you hung it round the outside, and then there was the coming together. Did you just feel like it's now or never, really, I've got to go for this win?
Yeah, pretty much. It's probably the best overtaking spot where I got him anyway into turn 1. If I didn't get it then, I don't think I'd have got it unless it'd have been a last-minute dive up the inside of the final corner, but I'm sure I'd have blocked that off.
So then, reflecting on this season, are you happy with how it's gone overall? Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I have a lot more of these last 2 rounds. Been a bit better than previously, but yeah, I'm happy with how I finished.
You're going to carry that momentum on then to the next season? We're going to be seeing you around?
Well, possibly. I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to be doing. There could be some real life driving happening instead, which might cut my time down a bit on the sim.
Oh right, okay. What are you looking to compete in?
The Enduro KAs with
fantastic.
the other Phoenix lads. We're looking at either joining another team or possibly building our own car, maybe, and competing with some of them. So hopefully that goes ahead.
Yeah, that'll be exciting stuff. The VRRC has got a good history, good track record in Enduro KAs. Alex Walker actually being on a race winning team last time out. So hopefully you can carry that look on and enjoy yourself in that series.
Yeah, well, Johnny Ogden's one of them. He's also
yes, of course.
He's also raced in them before as well. So there's him, and then there's I think Joel Lask. I think Jack maybe mentioned that he was interested in around. So hopefully we can get a good team together.
Yeah, that'd be very nice indeed. But whatever you end up doing, whether that be in real life or with us again in the future, I do hope to see you, because that would be great. You've had a fantastic run, as you say, especially at the end of this season. So congratulations on your race victory.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Adam. Very well done. Thanks to Reeve for conducting that interview. Adam finishing up provisionally 7th in the championship as we look at the final table. Just ahead of him, Chris Blakey. Josh Martin dropped from 4th to 5th because Scott Bugner doggedly stuck it out at that last round. It was all to play for in the last race, and he got up to 4th place in the championship. Eric Axelson 3rd, Oliver Gibson 2nd, and let's have a word with our new champion. Congratulations, Jack Smith.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, really happy with that. Yeah, I'd kept my nose clean. It wasn't the best race I've ever done, but yeah, it was a good final race to end the season. I got really close at the end, so yeah, mega bit of racing towards the end.
And we've given you driver of the day as well for that. So there wasn't really anybody else we could award it to. There was a lot of chat going on, but nobody else we could do it to. Conducted yourself absolutely superbly over the course of the season. Very coolly and calmly coming into this one. And we haven't mentioned the B word so far today. The ballast, and this is all with maximum ballast, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I said like last time. I just tend to just not think about it and just drive and see what I can do. But yeah, I was really surprised with the pace this round, especially. I don't really get it myself how I was that far down the road, but yeah, it was good. It was a bit of a confidence boost, and yeah, I mean, race 1 and 2 there was some really good racing, and yeah, we just pulled a gap. We were consistent over the season, so yeah, I think I ended up with 5 round wins, which is a bit ridiculous, but it's been probably one of the best seasons I've had in VRRC for sure. So yeah, just super happy. Couldn't really have done anything better. I think I was on the podium for top points in a round every single round, which is like, it's ridiculous. So if I can ever match that again, that's going to be some silly statistics. So yeah, that's just something to aim for, isn't it? Really. So yeah,
absolutely right. Do you know, I kind of think, when I look at this, and I get the same sort of feeling when I'm at scholarships, be it Ginetta scholarships or BRSEC Fiesta Junior scholarships, and when you look at the quality of young people that go into those rooms for the scholarships, if you had every single one of those drivers on a grid, you'd have a mega championship. If we had everybody here in VRRC on a car grid, that would be one hell of a championship as well, because you all deliver in bucket loads. We've got people developing, we've got people that are new, and so on and so forth. It's such a great mix and so much talent out there. It's just a shame that maybe somebody will win the lottery millions and get you all on the grid to real life championship sometime. That would be a great thing to do. And this is a great proving ground for you all, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Ollie's probably the best example of that. To be honest, he's coming to VRC. Wasn't the fastest of everyone, and this season he's been literally battling me for the lead and wins. I don't know how he's here now. He's come to the garage to see me. So I don't know. I can't remember how many. Have you got 4 wins this season? 3 wins? Something like that. But yeah, he's done mega this season. It's probably definitely his best performance he's had. So he's really been making me sweat all season. So yeah, I mean, that's just a testament to putting practice in, get results. So
he's supposed to pour champagne over your head now, by the way, and traditionally that's what happens when you win a championship on the podium.
I think I'm gonna go pour shower water over my head. That's what I need, and then maybe a beer after.
It sounds like a good plan. Are you off down the hot cabin for the beer, or?
Oh no, everyone's back now. They've
back?
probably celebrated without me. So
well, as long as they brought some of the craft beers back for you.
Yeah, trust me, there's plenty here. I'm gonna raid the fridge in a second. So, but yeah, it's been a mega season as always. Rich does a fantastic job with this series, and every mod he brings in, he's Eric's messed with this BMW and he's made it fantastic as well. So as always, broadcast, even with those little issues that we had, it's still an amazing broadcast to watch back every single time. So
thanks.
Yeah, mega job to Rich and all you guys commentating, and then thank you all to my sponsors and everything. Been doing this a while now, so super happy to be getting results still, even though it's been a fair few years now I've been racing. So saying that, I've known 25, but yeah. Hopefully a fair few more years of winning, so looking forward to it.
We hope so too. Great words to wrap up the podium interviews. Jack Smith, many congratulations. Driver of the round, double race winner, and our 2024 champion for VRRC. So that's it. Reeve, have you enjoyed the limited run with us? I guess you have, and probably looking forward to this, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 rounds I've been able to be here for this season. I wanted it to be more, so I was saying this to Rich before we commenced the season. I wish it could have been more. Genuinely, it's always a brilliant series to participate on. And as we say, we've got more coming up as well. A fantastic fleet of cars and some interesting tracks as well.
Yeah, kicking off the 8th of January, Bruno. So yeah, stick it in your planners to come and join us, Bruno, for the first round. Scani next up. I'm not even going to attempt after the others because I think I need to practice. But we end up with the Brands Hatch lookalike. I think Rich said it is, isn't it? It's right opposite in South Africa. Looking forward to that championship. I'll be around for some of the rounds as well. We'll bring a few other guests along, hopefully, to colour the journey along the way. Rich Hayden, we wish you well. I want to thank everybody that's raced in this series and entertained us. Everyone that's taken the time to chat to us. If we haven't had a chat with you and you fancy having an natter next time in our sort of featured driver slot, get in touch, we'll do that, and you can tell us what you want to talk about as well. If you've got sponsors or charity things that you're doing, whatever it is you want to talk about, we look forward to doing that. Pass it on to us for the VRRC Championship. But for me, Reeve Taylor, Rich Hayden, Rich, get well soon, mate. Hope you feel well soon. Thank you all for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be nice to each other, and we'll see you in 2025. Bye for now.
The inside of coats.
Parking gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and coats.
Thank you.